How's it going, everyone? Data here, and welcome back after a long hiatus to our New York Islanders franchise mode series on NHL 25 as we enter episode number 38 for what will be the entirety of year number 13, the 2036-37 season. I just wanted to start off this episode by thanking everyone for their support and understanding over the last 3 weeks or so as I have been away from the channel to move my fiance up from the US to Canada, and then from there to take care of about, 6,000 wedding appointments on top of setting up what will be our new house once we're married. And so another hiatus will be coming for the wedding and the honeymoon very soon. But before then, I really want to do my best to try and at least, finish to year 15 of our Islanders series, which will mean still 2 more episodes after this one. My current plan is to have year number 13 uploaded today, July 19th, year number 14 completed as a live stream tomorrow, July 20th, and then finally year number 15 also as a live stream, which will double as a wedding and birthday celebration on Monday, July 21st. Then after that, the big series wrap up to year number 25 will come out shortly after I return around mid-August. So thank you everyone once again for all the understanding. Thank you to the channel members who have been keeping up with the channel a little bit as well. We had July 1st coverage of free agency while I was down in the States, thanks to a few of the channel members. All the names running along the bottom here at the beginning of the episode, so a huge thank you to everybody. So let's quickly go over what has happened so far in this franchise mode series, especially for some of our newer subscribers, as we have just surpassed 9,000. Another huge thank you for that. So many things going on in the world right now, and so much to be thankful for. I'm truly blessed, and let's just get straight into it here. So through 12 seasons, we have had some crazy storylines, especially from the players who we inherited. Bo Horvat, Matty Barzal, players who went out and acquired, Brock Boeser, ones we've stumbled upon, Igor Loktionov, Riley Stepan. We could say a lot more about the 30-plus episodes that have been so far. And through our 12 seasons, we have made the postseason 10 consecutive times, reaching 5 Stanley Cup Finals and winning 3 championships so far. We've also won 50-plus games 9 times and 60-plus games 3 times, as we have won 5 of the last 6 President's Trophies, but we have not won the Stanley Cup in a couple of years thanks to Round 1 and Round 2 exits, losing most recently to the President's Trophy winning Penguins in 7 games last year. And speaking of last year, it was a live stream episode. I never ended up actually going over the awards of last season, so allow me to do that now, looking at the 2035-36 year number 12 awards, just to quickly fill you in on those. So the Nashville Predators won the Stanley Cup. The Penguins broke our President's Trophy streak as they had the 36th President's Trophy. Yes, it was the Penguins and the Predators in a Stanley Cup Final rematch like 20 years later here in 2036, and the Predators won it this time. Individual awards, Connor Bedard won the Art Ross. The Hart went to Quinton Byfield. The James Norris, now this was a huge surprise for me because his points weren't really that crazy, but it must have been the plus minus. David Jiricek wins his first James Norris. We've now won it back-to-back years here on Long Island. Dupont in 35 and now Jiricek in 36, so a huge congratulations to him. I'm sorry that we had missed it last episode. Bedard also won the Lady Byng. Yzerman snubbed of back-to-back Lady Byngs. He had over 100 points and just 6 penalty minutes, but Bedard was better, I suppose. What else we see here? Conn Smythe went to Cole Caulfield. Jennings going to Ackerman and Augustine in back-to-back years. That's fantastic. Ackerman now 2 for 2, our young goaltender who just played in his 2nd season. He won the Vezina in his rookie year, as well as the Jennings, and now the Jennings again in his sophomore year. So 2 seasons, 2 Jennings, 1 Vezina. Augustine sharing those 2 Jennings. And was that it? No, also the Frank J. Selke Trophy to Macklin Celebrini in his 2nd season as an Islander. So last season saw Yzerman score 103 points, Celebrini 101, career high for him. Jiricek 59 points and a plus 49. So it really goes to show the strength of plus minus. Yeah, negative 21, negative 14. Brent Clark had as a plus 31, but Jiricek 59 points and a plus 49, winning his first career Jennings Trophy, James Norris with the 3 Stanley Cups that he has won so far here as an Islander. Fantastic. Then, of course, as I was saying, there was the postseason where we fell in round 2 to the Penguins. We swept the Capitals in round 1, but then, of course, the 2 best teams in the league, 1st and 2nd place, face off in round 2. Penguins beat us in 7. They went on the Stanley Cup Final, but lost to the Predators. And finally, for the points in the postseason, Yzerman was point per game 11 and 11. Celebrini had 10. Kevin, we picked up Guliev. Yes, I forgot about Guliev. Mikhail Guliev, we picked up at the trade deadline. He was a revelation. 14 points and a +7 in 22 games played. And then in the playoffs, 8 points and a +5 in 11 games. I'd love to keep him, but as an offensive defenseman, even though he's an 82 overall, at this point in franchise mode, I would be shocked if it's anything less than 8 million. So we just don't have that money. Zupon, 8 points. Martone, Kapanen, 7. Brock Summers, 5 in 9. Platt, Yurchek, blah, 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 all the way down here for everybody else if you're curious. And then for the goaltending, both of our goalies were great. It was a heartbreaking loss for real. To say that we lost in 7 to the best team in the league, and that Ackerman had a .921 save percentage, Augustine .926, 2.31 goals against average, 1.62 goals against. It was really, really, really unfortunate. It was a 2-1 loss, I think, in Game 7, plus an empty netter. Yeah, but now we move into year number 13, and it's going to be tough for the contract situation. The simulation will be quick, but I'm going to try and keep this episode to an hour-ish range. I know it's an entire season. The beginning is longer, but after that, we'll fly through it a bit more quickly. For cap space, looking at all expiring, Guliev's going to have to walk, unfortunately. Looking at what his demand would be, 3/9. We have $11.56 million to play with. Really, we just need to extend Platt. Marchman shouldn't be hard. Platt, so Guliev's going to walk. Huo's going to walk. Our rookies are going to re-sign, no problem. But then for the goaltending, it's Ackerman there. He needs his contract. He just had a 1-year extension of $5 million. Now he's wanting, I think, 1 year, $10 million. 8 years, $18.5. So typically my philosophy for goaltending in franchise mode is you just go with whoever's hot. Doesn't matter the overall. But when the overall and the hotness coincide, that's a predicament because I want to stick with Ackerman. 2 years in the NHL, 2 Jennings, 1 Vezina. He's young as well. He could be the goalie of the future moving into our long-term sim to 2035. But the reality is, Trey Augustine, who's making just $2.5 million as an 83 overall, has been really good as well. Super consistent the last couple of years especially. That's why he has been involved in those last 2 Jennings trophies. So if we had to run with Trey Augustine as our starting goaltender, we could do that. But again, thinking about it storyline-wise, I said we drafted a goalie, we developed him, 2 years, he's our starter, 2 Jennings, a Vezina, and then we're just going to trade him away because of contract. It's possible, for sure, but it's not necessarily what I'd want to do. Plus, Augustine, yes, he's still good for a few more years, but is he the guy to bring us for another 10-plus years? No. Ackerman might be that guy. But that's just still, it's a lot of money to go with the goaltending, and we have a lot of money dedicated elsewhere, like especially Cole Yzerman making $15 million. Oh my goodness. Plus, we do have goaltenders ready to come up in the system. If we look at guys like Zykov, 80 overall at 22, medium elite potential as well. Palin, medium elite. Menard, medium elite. Not as high on them maybe, but Zykov for sure could be the NHL backup to Augustine next year, let's say. So as much as we want to keep Ackerman, we might have to take things with a pinch of franchise mode salt, thinking, okay, we're now in 2036, which means we have to bend reality a little bit. And we can't just hold to loyalty blindly. If a player wants 8/18 million, hey, let's be honest, we can't afford it. Unless things change after the draft, I don't know. But then another huge question, let me finish off with this, is what are we going to do for the top 6? Now that Brock Boeser has retired, who's going to be that big scoring, aside from the primary scoring? Who's going to be the big secondary guy? Because Celebrini, Martone, and Yzerman is still our first line, absolutely. But Oliver Kapanen, who has regressed a little bit, with Kevin, okay, he just had a back-to-back 30-plus goal seasons. Who's on that second line left wing, or even right wing? Do we have Frederick Platt come up? I don't know. Back-to-back seasons in NHL. He has gotten better. He had a little bit more ice time this past year, yes, but still just 21 points playing 12-29. We've seen players score 40 points playing 9 minutes per night. So Platt at 6'5" is a power forward. Look at the 89 shot blocking, 95 stick checking, just the 1.5-star puck skills. I love Platt, but I'm not sure you could ever get out of that third line role. So if Platt stays on the third line, and let's say Herdina and Kasparaitis are also there on the third line. Kasparaitis has been great. He just had a back-to-back 40-plus point season to start his NHL career playing low ice time. The only other option to promote would be Brock Summers. Now, Brock Summers just had his sophomore season, scoring 37 points and 17 goals as a 4-star sniper. Low shot power, but 89 shooting accuracies for both slap and wrist shot. So do we give him a chance in the top 6, or do we move out his $1.5 million cap hit? and look at somebody else to join the top 6. But then are we using the money on a top 6 guy? Are we using the money on the goaltender? Where are we using our money? We could consider moving out Thomas Hornqvist. I always want to say Torsten. If you know, you know. Thomas Hornqvist, he's been a lifer here. First round pick back in 2029. He's been great. He's nothing crazy flashy, but super consistent. A plus 177 in his career. So he can be relied on to eat those big minutes in a second pair role. However, he's making $6.25 million. But in franchise mode in 2036, that's pretty much the going rate for a second pair defenseman. So we could survive without Hornqvist, Dupont, Yurchek top pair, Douglas, and let's say Korobov on the second pair. Third pair could be 10, and we find someone else who's like 78 overall on an entry-level contract. We could potentially survive. Yeah, we could survive without Hornqvist and his $6.25 million cap hit. So if we say extension dollars are 11.56, we said, trading out Hornqvist and his 6.25 gives us 17.81 million. With 17.81 million, and let's say even Summers moves out and Platt stays as the third line guy with Hrdina and Kasparaitis. Summers is good, but 81.24, if he didn't grow, I don't know, let's say we also move him out at 1.5 million, 19.31 million. Let's say as an RFA, we negotiate down with Ackerman, maybe he signs for something around 9-ish million. That would leave us let's say about 10 million to consider some sort of top 6 addition. That would not be bad. That would not be bad. Platt, Hrdina, Kasparaitis, third line. Pricing, maybe we can move out Pricing instead of Summers, but then, because he's a fourth liner, so Pricing, Haynes, and Spencer on the fourth line. But then Marchment wants to make the NHL probably. Breland for sure, we put a lot of stock in him, our 9th overall pick back in 2032. He has spent 2 years in the AHL. It's time to get him into the NHL. I want Breland in the NHL. We need a spot for him. Peacock even, 78 at 21 with medium top 6 potential, former 15th overall pick of the Senators. Santiago Chung, yes, another guy with medium league potential. We want to be promoting these guys so that they can be the future. We love Ralph Pricing. We love Torsten Hornqvist. But it might be time to move on. Like I said, we can't hang on to loyalty as much at this point in the franchise mode. Pricing at 2.325. Now we're dealing with something in like the $21.5 million range before Ackerman's signing. It's tough. It's really tough. And when we think about who those potential guys could be, if we look at pending free agents, I prefer not to have to compete with anybody. Like, we could trade for their rights instead. But who is that guy who could come in and join us? Like, Boris Emlin would be crazy. 91 overall. He is a playmaker, but he scores 30-plus goals pretty consistently. Exactly. I would love Boris Emlin on this team, but would he be content to play in a second-line role? And would we want to pay him probably like the $13 million that he'd want to be a second-line guy? That's the thing. I'd love some sort of 86 to 88 overall forward, but then who's out there who's young enough? Lekkerimaki just had a career year. I did my pre-research a little bit. I doubt the Penguins are going to let him walk at the age of 31, but if they did, I could see a 1 or 2 year deal for like a Gabriel Perreault maybe. Gabe Perreault could be somebody. We could try and see if it makes sense for the Ducks to trade him out. He's a second-line role guy. Lekkerimaki a first-line role guy, but Perreault might be the guy to say, let's get him on a 2-year deal. I don't know what he's looking for exactly, especially just the UFAs are what we're interested in. Guys who are more 32, 33, 34, I'm not as confident in a 2-year deal in. But if I needed to give a 2-year bridge to somebody before our other medium league guys grow, it's probably someone who's more 31, like Perreault or Lekkerimaki, but I don't think it would make sense for the Penguins to move out Lekkerimaki. Dryden, same story as just in terms of storyline. We just got Celebrini rights from the Sharks a couple of years ago when they had no money. Now they do have money. They'd likely want to keep Dryden, so we won't pry him from the San Jose Sharks. I gotta say, if we're doing anybody, it's probably Gabe Perreault. I'm open to options of who might drop to free agency too. Let's see what Anaheim says. So all of that in mind, now we're going to try to fly through things a little bit more quickly. Thank you for bearing with me. We're moving into the draft, and we probably got to make some trades here. Maybe the Ducks, we could think about trading out those pieces to Anaheim. They have the first overall pick even. So it makes sense why Perreault wouldn't want to go back. They've been a bad team. They're sellers. If we look at, according to overall now, so, he has a no trade clause. Well, there you go. That's the problem right there. That's the problem right there. So we have to hope that he drops to free agency because Perreault doesn't want to waive his no trade clause. And just to highlight what I'm talking about, if we go over and look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, yes, we could acquire Lekkerimaki that there's no trade clauses, but they have like 14 million in cap space, and no one else really expiring aside from Doc, who's 35. So they're going to keep Lekkerimaki. I'd be shocked if he drops to free agency. That's a tough one. Do we trade out players in anticipation of free agency? Then the problem becomes having to fight with other teams, which I really don't want to do. So because we're definitely not trading up for pick 1, 2, or 3 or anything, I'm going to go ahead and look through all the trade blocks in the NHL. That's something I couldn't do until the episode started now. So I'm going to fly through the trade blocks and see what might make sense to see who could be a top 6 guy in that. Actually, can we do player search from here? Can we do player search? No, we can't, eh? Of course not. Why would we be able to? So I'll just have to do my own research and go from here. You know what? Just hit me. Instead of trying to think about UFAs and how much money might we need to clear up and we over trade away players we don't want to trade away maybe, what if we wait and see who drops to restricted free agency? Like, think about this guy Blomstrand, for example, in Buffalo. Obviously, they don't want to trade him, but they have extensions kicking into Benson, to Jarvis. No one else really expiring except for Charlie McAvoy. That is a lot of money. I'm not saying Buffalo for sure. I'm just saying, what if there's a team that might have an interesting RFA on the trade block come July, the beginning, first week of July, and we trade for them and then sign them, and we'll be able to see exactly how much we need to sign them for, as opposed to a bidding war in unrestricted free agency or trying to guess by acquiring someone's rights. I'll still go through the entire NHL to do my due diligence, but that's also an idea. An RFA might be the guy. Okay, so due diligence done. A few more ideas in my head, but nothing concrete. We're going to have to really see how teams manage their cap space and who drops to free agency, who the RFAs might be. And a lot of guys who might be trade targets are also under contract, so whether we trade for them now or on July 1st doesn't really make a difference. So let's just get through the draft, unless we use the picks now to also be involved in a deal. That's the thing. So first pick, the Ducks got this guy Morrow, medium elite, 82 overall, power forward, defenseman, medium elite. Medium elite's all going there in the top 5. First pick up for grabs is pick number, nothing special. Pick number 21. So we could see who's available then, but we pick a 26. It's not a huge difference. All right, now pick 21. Who might be out here at 21? I'll fly through the rest of the draft, but the first pick, let's think about it. Esa Toivonen, 3 years away, left wing, potentially a power forward. McKellen, if they could show me, no, why would it? Come on, David McClellan, 3 years away, medium top 6 sniper. The guy who we originally had, if we're going to pick a 26, would be Marcus Alexiev, 3 years away, center grinder, yeah. No one who really inspires me. Guys we could go after, one comment said to pin Braden Keeler, offensive defenseman, maybe offensive defenseman, who might be low elite. There's a lot that we could do. Medium top 6, Vandermeer. Grinder again, Skylar Vandermeer. For some reason, our scouts this year just did that. Ray Corazzini. Hey, what a name. Medium top 6D, though, yeah. So I'd prefer to trade these picks for immediate help, or just for even picks next year that we can use in a trade on July 1st, because nothing really inspires me for our first selection. So I'm going to sim to our pick. That'll be the first thing that I do. Who went over here? Yeah, medium top 6, 66 overall guys. Nothing crazy. I'll take a couple of timeouts now. I'm going to try to construct some sort of trade because we have a decent amount of picks this year, and I'm not really wanting to make many selections because I like what we've done in recent drafts. So we have a first, 2 seconds, and a third. So there's a team that wants maybe a first and our second. Maybe a first and our maybe 26 and 58 for a decent first next year. I'm going to look into that. It's because no sellers or conservative sellers, actually no conservative sellers in the entire league, but no sellers want to trade their first or second of the year coming up. So that's going to be an issue. Maybe the Devils, they don't want the picks, but they do want to move a medium elite prospect who I'm not really interested in. He scored 5 goals in the AHL last year as a sniper. Yes, playing 10-17, but if I could just get him and then use his value for something else, that might be the idea, because I don't know what trade I'm going to have to make come July 1st. That's the real issue here. Can I get Martin and a 4th for a first and a second? No, just Martin straight up for a first and a second? No, because they don't want those picks. First, a second, a 4th, and a 5th for a medium elite prospect who was drafted in the first round of 2035. He'll have value to flip later on. With the 7th next year, thank you. Oh my goodness. Okay, all right. The Devils we're going to take here, medium top 4D. Fine. Now, we'll go to pick number 33. This will be our first selection. We have the first pick of the second round. To end off the first round, anything interesting here? Medium top 6. Yeah, Alexei didn't really want the grinder. Then medium top 9s. Low elite, medium top 9, LeBlanc. At 33, more top 9s. A lot of things I'm not so sure about. Probably Vandermeer's the guy in terms of potential. But even then, I'm not convinced. The biggest thing you probably have to think about is defense, with how poorly defensemen progress and develop at this stage in franchise mode. Stocking the cupboards with lots of defensive prospects will be the best thing for us. Yeah, let's call this an add-on to the trade we just made. Actually, I'll take back pick 58. I'll give you pick 33. And you can send pick 148 my way as well. Second and a fifth. There you go. That's fine. So I don't even want to use that pick. I'll move down. You get a medium top 9 forward. Haha. I'll go to 58 now. I'm not going to take the rights to Gavin. He's an interesting guy as well, but he's a centerman. We have Kapanen. We have Kasperitis. We have Brelin. There's also Kravchenko, a forward. Tempting, but we got to go, I think, for Downey. So we'll take him with pick 58, and he'll be a 62 overall. He's a two-way D, but 62, low top 4, fine. Next pick at 90. I'm not thinking too much about this draft, really, I have to be honest. We have a lot of guys already stocked up. Easy, the high elite goalie. I knew he was coming soon. Good thing we didn't go past him. I would have been upset with myself. Samu Niemi, high elite, 18-year-old goaltender, 5 years away. Crazy stats in just 9 appearances in Liga. So welcome to the team. High elite goaltender, 48 overall, but definitely lots of room to grow. That's great news. Pick 148 now. Let's see who we have pinned. I have a few guys left pinned from Sam's comment. Let's see here. Yeah, 4 more guys still. So at 148, we could take a chance on Rintoul at 191, potentially low elite, then 1 more on merit. Brennan Rintoul, let's do that. The defenseman, he is, hey, low elite 69 overalls, a two-way D. What? Wow, that's a great pick. Thanks, Sam. Great call. Then at 157, we'll take the guy closer to 200. Or we take the low top 6 forward guarantee, Roger Olsen, right here from Romania. Yeah, why not? The Romanian robot. Let's do it. Roger the Romanian. Low top 6, 55 overall. And then at 178, then we'll take the guy who's closer to the 200s with the 3-bar medium elite. Let's do that. Yeah. We also want to look at Bancroft and Ripon, but Merritt is the best chance at something. 19, 6'4", 3-bar medium elite. Please top 6 at least. Yes, medium top 6, 55 overall. Okay, I like it. Not bad for a draft. I'm just kind of flying through. And we'll say thank you very much. The New York Rangers have acquired year. Oh, a different year check. I saw that at the bottom. Downey, Niemi, Rintoul, Olsen, and Merritt. Welcome to the island. And that will be the draft. Well, all we really need to do now is qualify Platt and Ackerman, because there's no one really expiring who we're really too worried about. Guliev, we have to let him walk, unfortunately. Huo, at this point, we have other players to replace him. We'll let him walk. Regula, we have other guys. We'll let him walk. Kemp, will let him walk as a UFA. Just looking at the, yeah, I should just be looking at UFAs. Von Arx, low top 6D, 60-20, I'll let him walk. And then everybody else, yeah, these 3 guys I will sign. And for the RFAs, I will qualify Platt. I'll try to sign these guys, but I'll probably just have to end up qualifying them because they'll want crazy one-way deals. For the unsigned players, nobody needs to sign right there. And then finally for the goaltending, it's just Ackerman, who now, I wonder if his demand changed now that it's post-draft. Yeah, actually, no. I think it did a little bit, but still crazy for 8 years. 1 year at 9.3 to stay as an RFA would not be the worst thing. But we'll wait until July 1st. Yeah, we can get him down to the 8s with 11.56 to go. So let me qualify the RFAs, sign the UFAs, and also go extend our scouts. Then we'll get ready for free agency. All right, we're ready to go. Let's sim to free agency. The scouts will sign on and all that good stuff here. And here we now are at free agency. So I wonder, first and foremost, who dropped to free agency? Looking at the UFAs. Yes, UFA forwards. So Emelin did indeed drop, but as we see, we wouldn't have had that kind of money. Even if we did trade out, well, unless we're trading Ackerman. If we're not keeping Ackerman, and we are trading out Hornqvist and Pricing and all these guys, we would have money for a guy like Emelin. But again, the problem becomes, Yzerman is our first-line left wing, so we're more looking at a guy in the 86 to 88 range. Who are those RFAs who dropped, I wonder? Any RFAs out there? Yes, for sure. So I wonder who might be kind of lingering around here come a week from now, and then they are on the team's trade block. So we'll start with the UFAs. I don't know if we're offering any contracts, but first we gotta, do I have to say affordable? Yeah, probably put affordable. McGroarty didn't have great stats. So we're looking at guys like... Oh, Dryden did drop. Interesting. Dryden did indeed drop to free agency, but do we want to go after an 86 overall for close to 10 million? That's the problem. He has high organizational interest, and 2 years comes down a lot. I wonder. Like, let's say we're going to give him 3 years he was most interested in. 4 years he's as interested. But is Eric Dryden our guy? Full no-move clause for 4 years. Oof, that would be painful. Not painful, but it would be scary. Joshua Roy, he had a great year last year, but again, close to 10 million for an 85 overall. I know we have to think about now that's this point in franchise mode. That's still a lot of money. 3 years. Hold on, no trade clauses desired, but still about 8.5 million. He had a really good season last year. I wonder on Joshua Roy. Now, he's 32 at an 85. 30 goals last year, 73 points, back-to-back, like 70-plus point seasons or so. Wasn't really great before that, just had a crazy year in Vancouver. Could that be replicated with us here on the island? He had a ton of power play time that helped him out, I suppose. I wonder if Joshua Roy might be able to be that guy. Looking back just at UFAs in general, Calle Eriksson is very interesting, but a playmaker. Like, he won't be scoring goals. And, he's a 30-point guy who finally just exploded at 76. Is that more because of who he was playing with? That's a big possibility. So to say that we're committing to giving him, again, something in the $8.5 million range, I don't know. Austin Matthews is a guy who will always simulate well. Like, what are we trying to look for? It's not, we're not necessarily in that Band-Aid market. Who's really coming up our system to be ready to take over a top 6 wing spot in the next 2 or 3 years? Platt, Summers, Chung, all those guys have potential to be in the NHL, but top 6ers? I don't know. That's why Dryden speaks to me a bit more as a 27-year-old, but Roy's simulation has been really impressive. However, Dryden's organizational interest is a lot higher, yet he wants that full no-move clause. Oof, that is a tough one. If we went to Dryden and said, here, let's make it some sort of... Actually, changing the clause doesn't do a lot. Trading clause... Let me see here. It seems as though this is probably the max of his interest, because even with the no-move clause, it barely brings the contract interest up. So I'm going to try something a little bit crazy here. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. 4 years... Because if we go down... Actually, how low could we go with this interest? We could go down a little bit more still. 4 years at 8.1 with no clause, because it doesn't even really do anything. Yeah, even a no... Yeah, it doesn't do anything, really. So 4 years at 8.1... If it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and if not, we'll look at some other option. But that will be our first contract that we send out here in the offseason, and we'll see where it goes. No one else has offered him yet. That gives us a bit of an edge, but that's going to be it. I'm not going to touch anything else. Of course, there's defensemen who are available for your firstborn, but I don't want to sign Lane Hudson for $18 million or whatever. I'm content with our defense. Again, like if we trade out Hornqvist at 6.4, who are you going to sign? Who are you going to sign? You're going to go after a guy who's making $2 million? Yeah, now you're already... Look at 80 overalls. Even Gervais Chouinard, 81, 7.175. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to trade Hornqvist and then get who? So it would have to be some sort of rookie that we promote. We're not going to trade Hornqvist and then go out and sign a defenseman. So it's really, that's it. Dryden's our only contract that we're sending out here. I'm going to send out contracts to the AHL RFAs. But for Ackerman, we got to wait and see what happens there. Even Platt, I'm going to wait on because it depends on what Dryden's taking. So Marchment down to Bugstad I will get signed, but Platt and Ackerman will keep them as qualified players until we simulate a few more days and get Dryden's answer. Okay, ready to advance. I also sent out a few off-season focuses, so we'll see how that goes over the course of the summer. No thank you, Ottawa. Let's advance and see what Dryden has to say. It's not the exact number of years that he wanted, but no one else is offering him a contract just yet, so crossing those fingers. Maddox Marchment, okay, blah, blah, blah. Eric Dryden going to Vancouver. That is unfortunate, but we just weren't able to compete. If other teams were going to be offering him that close to $10 million price tag, it's just not a possibility. A full no-move clause for Dryden, 3 by 11.72. Yeah, that was just never... We were never in contention. So, back to the drawing board here in free agency. So, going back to affordable forwards. Actually, who's still out here in RFA? I say still out here, but who... after a few days, Roussel. So the guy in Buffalo got signed. Roussel, who's this low franchise? Drew Roussel. I wonder if Perreault got a new contract or what in Anaheim as well. Surovi, Van Ryn. We'd have to look around, and there's Platt, of course. Lower AAV that he's asking for now. Actually, maybe we could sign him. Now he wants 3 by 2.775. That's a lot more doable. At this point in franchise mode, now's the time where you're allowed to cheese in my mind. But I'm also not sure if I'm committed to Platt, really. 2.725 for 5 years on Frederick Platt. I don't mind that for a long-term third liner. Okay, let's see what he says. And aside from that, I wonder if there are any RFAs who are now on the trade block. Okay, Tampa Bay has a few, including Van Ryn. Centerman, though. Esteban Van Ryn. How about that? But centerman, right? There are so many teams with absolutely no one on the trade blocks. I've never seen this many teams with just 0 players on the block. So Washington might be our best chance, eh? Yeah. All right, so the Capitals are about $5 million under the cap. Maybe they could keep one of them, but not both of them, between Surovi and Bengtsson, this defenseman. 85 overall, 23-year-old Oscar Bengtsson, two-way D. So this could be a chance here to acquire Surovi. 32 goals, 34 assists last year. As a two-way forward. Not like your typical sniper or your power forward, but a well-rounded player. The shooting does concern me. Like, will he be able to keep up being a 25, 30-plus goal kind of guy? Or is that a flash-in-the-pan type season? 66 points, playing 1942 of ice time. Surovi. Stick him up superstar ability. Surovi, I wonder. So if we were trying to acquire Surovi, now let's also think about what is he wanting as a contract. Let's see, he wants 4 by 10.8. For 1 year, 8.55. But if we go longer term, 7 years, with some sort of movement clause, closer to 10 mil. Unless it comes down later on, we're probably looking at close to 7 by 10 plus range. So if he costs about 10 million, that leaves us with 1.485 plus, let's say, 6.4 of Hornqvist, and maybe the 2 point something of pricing. It gets us back to another 10 million for Ackerman. You gotta think about who's expiring next year as well. Boy, oh boy. Or do we just say, forget trying to acquire and sign someone, let's go for someone who's already under contract, and that might be, as I was saying earlier, over in Vancouver, maybe even to myself, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, Frank Nazar. Okay, he's in Tampa Bay, 3.835 for 2 more years, including this next one. 59-point season last year with the Lightning. Could it be now in a larger sample size that he does even more? He was fantastic for us in, was it the Starfleet series? Yes, I think so. Last year in NHL 24. Do we want Nazar in our top 6 as an 84 overall? 1 good year of simulation. Man. It's tough because any UFA, like Joshua Roy, he wants 4 by 8.2. If I offer him something different than that, another team's going to offer him way more. If I say, hey, I'll give you 4... let me see. 7 point... Looking at a full bar. 7.85. 4 years to 7.85 on Joshua Roy with no clauses. Easily tradable. Let's send it and see what happens. Yeah, let's at least send it. Why not? Surovi might be the guy in the end. I don't know. I don't know. Even Jack Hughes is out here, but these are just crazy contracts. Advancing, and Roy goes back to Montreal. Wow. All right, Joshua Roy returns to the Montreal Canadiens. And again, I wonder, what kind of deal did he get since he wasn't asking for any clauses? 8.115 for 4 years. Yeah, so if we went up to 8.115, but you can never know for sure. So then who's left at this point? Do we go after Austin Matthews in a 1-year fix kind of thing? Has he won a Stanley Cup? No. Hart, 2 Ted Lindsays, 6 Maurice Richards, Selke, Calder, of course, but no Stanley Cups. Might Austin Matthews want to come to Long Island? Down to 2-star puck skills, 1.5-star physical, 2.5-star skating. Oh my goodness. But he scores 50 goals a year. Would you want to play the wing here? For 1 year? I mean, we have the money. Like 1 year, 7 million on a no-move clause? Even down a bit more with that move clause. Yeah, 1 year, 7 million on a full no-move clause. Austin Matthews to chase a Stanley Cup, play in our top 6. Probably not center. Could, I don't know, get bumped out. But I could see it. Yeah, I could see it. I could see it. Emil Heineman, but he's 34. This guy, Tutu, 85 at 25. Brendan Tutu, 119 penalty minutes last year. Two-way forward, former first-round pick. Not much of a points guy. We need someone in that top 6 who's going to kind of do what Brock Boeser was doing. Miles Wood at 31, 25 goals, 30 assists. Yeah, he's been a Predator his whole life. Never really gotten much of a chance, actually. I don't know why. What? 4 games played, 1 game played, 20 games played? Huh? 55 points last year, playing just 13:35 of ice time. What? How has Matthew Wood not gotten ice time here? Matthew Wood, related maybe in some way to Kyle Wood, channel legend and Data 782 Hall of Famer. He's a Stanley Cup champ. Now he wants to go after all the disrespect that he's gotten. Even JJ Peterka, but he's 34. I could see Wood. Yeah, 3 years. I'm going to offer him that. 3 years at 6.6 if he wants a new lease on life. If you want a new lease on life, Matthew Wood, 3 years at 6.6. Another team is interested in him. I'm giving him exactly what he's asking for. Could I have gone a bit more? Maybe, but I'm really trying to save money for the Ackerman squeeze of RFA squeeze that I'm about to have to go through. So would Matthew Wood want to come to Long Island? Frederick Platt says money's not enough. Okay, goodbye. And Matthew Wood goes to Winnipeg. All right, there you go. Where he signed for, what, 9.765? All right, I understand. No hard feelings, man. But that's crazy. How are teams going so above asking? You'll never be able to win a player in free agency unless you just go crazy. Boy. Jack Hughes says no one interested in him, but at 11.325, it's a bit too much. Austin Matthews now has signed now, probably, right? Yeah, now we missed out on Matthews as well. Sorovi's still out here for the RFAs. Maybe he's the guy. I've been thinking about it too much. Yeah, you know what? We're going to make a trade with the Capitals for Sorovi. We're going to do it. It would have been nice to get the 1 or 2 year guy in Austin Matthews, but let's get a guy who's going to actually be a part of this team into the long-term future. Cross your fingers. So Sorovi, who's on the block here in Washington, they're buyers. We're here in the same division, which is ugly. But what are you going to do? I'll give you the medium league guy that we got from the Devils, who I want to use as a trade piece later on. So there's that guy already taking a lot of value. And we got to trade out some salary cap here. We need to trade out a forward. So if we're keeping Platt, I guess we'd probably trade out Summers. Even Price, but he doesn't want to go to Washington. That'll be a separate deal. See, there's Platt and there's Summers. Lower trade value. Summers simulates better. 17 goals last year, the higher shooting accuracies and all that. Maybe we just trade Platt instead. It's just that he's good for the defense. He's a penalty killer. The 2-star skating hurts, but 5-star physical, 4-star defense, and then he's willing to commit. Not just yet, but it seems as though we could get him cheap for like 5 or 6 years. Meanwhile, Brock Summers, he signed on for 1 more year, 1.5, but after that, I have no idea what he's going to be asking for. Summers would be a good scorer to have, but 81-24, let's toss him in. So Martin and Summers are going to come back to haunt us for sure. And then maybe we find a different deal to trade Hornqvist and Pricing together if we need to trade up, free up that money. What do you say? So Martin, who was essentially like our first and third and fourth and all that, with Brock Summers to the Capitals in exchange for the RFA Sorovi, who would need to be signed to a contract. Yeah, sweet proposal on our end. On behalf of the Washington Capitals organization, I accept. Could we have gotten a little bit more? Yes, but it's a prospect who we didn't even have interest in, and a third liner for an RFA's rights, so I'm okay with just doing that. And that prospect I don't think is going to grow. So now that leaves us with having to make a separate deal if we want to sign Sorovi and Ackerman. But Sorovi's looking at 4 by 8.975, not as much as we originally thought, right? Wasn't he looking at the 10s? So if we did want to sign him long-term, it's a lot to do right here, right now. I prefer to do the 4. The 4 is what he wants. We could squeeze it to the 5. 10% no trade, 50% no trade, no difference. So I'll give him a 4-team no trade for years 3, 4, and 5. And we'll call 5 years at... Can we bring it down a little bit? Not much. 5 years at 8.85 for Peter Sorovi. I'd want to sign him longer and all that, but this is what you have to deal with in franchise mode at this stage. So 5 years at 8.85, and Frederick Platt did not like the offer that we gave him last time at 5 years. So we could go 4 years. You never know what might happen by then. But I don't know, if he really wants the 3 years, we do the 3 years. I don't know, 2.65 for 4 years. All right, Frederick Platt, new players will grow by then. Let's try that. And even Lewis. Come on, Lewis. The guy wants 1 year, 1.3. Now you wait in free agency. Now you want the 2-way deal of 875. Oh, Josh Lewis. There you go. Okay, so Sorovi's on board. Welcome. And then depending on what happens there, if we want to keep Ackerman, we have to decide between him and Hornqvist. So let's see it. There you go, Frederick Platt accepts. And so does Peter Sarovi, the newest New York Islander. Couldn't get a deal in Washington. Goes to a division rival. And now we welcome him to our top 6 of the next probably, hopefully 5 years with limited trade clauses, which is good because we got to try and get away from some of these no movement clauses. Peter Sarovi, 4th overall pick in the 2030 draft. His whole career in Washington so far, coming off of his career-high 32 goals, 66-point season. Hopefully more of that to come. All right, cross your fingers for Peter Sarovi. So that now leaves us with $2.535 million. If we want to sign Ackerman, I'm sure his demands have come down a little bit, but not by that much. 2 years at 10.2. He would take 1 year at 8.225. Do we run a three-headed monster with Zykov growing and 1 more year of Ackerman, seeing is he truly the real deal before we give him his big contract? I wouldn't mind doing that, but it would necessitate trading out Hornqvist's, and we could probably keep pricing, but I want to open up rosters. I don't know. We could probably keep pricing, but Hornqvist would have to go. A lot of options come up in the fine trade, 25 options, but I don't really want all these guys who are costing a ton of salary. Picks, prospects is more what I'm interested in. The Sabres give us a prospect and a third. A few different options of prospects and a third. Hurricanes a second, a third. Second, third from some Western Conference teams. Wow, who they just signed the Canadians. Come on. Yeah, and after that, more roster players. So do we want the second and the third from a Western Conference team? Or a prospect and a third from a division rival? Let's see who these prospects are here in Buffalo, and if not, we'll go to a team like Vegas. But let's see who these prospects are here on the Sabres. So Scatchard was the first one, 2073. 15th overall pick in 2034. Hasn't done well in Rochester. 26 points, low ice time. But still, 2073. I'm not convinced. Don't like the attributes either, really. Tyupkin, 71-19, a bit more promising. 12th overall pick in 2035. Miroslav Tyupkin. Okay, only 4 games in Rochester. But again, the attributes, 1.5-star defense. Yes, he's 19. But some of those attributes just might never grow. 71-19 for a center right winger. Hector Ortiz, power forward, who's a little more well-rounded. Very good stats down in the OHL. Hector Ortiz, 6'5" center right wing. Yeah, I'm down for Hector Ortiz. Let's do that. So Hector Ortiz and a 3rd-round pick from the Buffalo Sabres. I hate trading him to a rival, but I got to get the best value for what I can do for my team here. So Hornqvist and a 6th, let's say. Thomas Hornqvist, we drafted 10th overall in 2029. He was dropping that draft. We did not have a top 10 pick in 2029. Central Scouting had him ranked 5th, and he kept dropping 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, finally 10. We traded for him for the pick and drafted him at 10. After that, he has now spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full seasons in the NHL as an Islander. 470 games played, 26 goals, 73 assists, 99 points, a plus 177. In the playoffs, 15 points, a -3 though. Interesting. But a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. No move clause going to be kicking in next year. We got to free up some money. So Hornqvist and a 6th, off to the Sabres for Ortiz and a 2nd. Thank you very much. Hornqvist, we thank you so very much for your service here as an Islander. And we just need the money to move on, sadly. We just need that money. And we probably need the money from pricing as well, which would be another heartbreak. And you know what? Because I was just also looking at Trey Augustine. If we were to say, okay, let's roll with Trey Augustine instead. The thing is, he wants crazy money as well. 1 more year of 2.5, but then he wants what he's deserved, honestly, which is above $7 million. So it's crazy because he's an 83, but it's probably what he's worth. So if we brought it down to whatever, 6.35, give him a no move clause, we can get him. We could probably get Trey Augustine for a few more years, closer to 3x6. But if we could just pay like $3 more million and get Ackerman for 10 years, not 10 years, but let's say an 8-year deal, I'd rather do that eventually. So 1 year, like $8 million on Ackerman, and then we'll find out. Probably backed up. And it's also Palin. I forgot about Palin. Zykov, Palin, there's guys in the system. Oh my goodness. Palin is 80-21. And he did great in just 25 appearances in the AHL last year. Meanwhile, Zykov is 80-22. Numbers weren't as great in the AHL, but still good. What if we traded Zykov and pricing to a team, for a little bit more money, sign Ackerman, and in return get some sort of prospect? Yeah, that's probably the move. Here's what I'm thinking. So the Kings are in desperate need of a goaltender. Zykov will be that guy. Pricing, he was open to going to the Kings, and they want him. Here's a couple of lower-end prospects, low top 4 guy, low top 6 guy. In exchange, I'll take back a pick you want to move and a couple of your better prospects, but you still have a lot of other prospects as well. The Kings have a ton of prospects. So I don't think this will go through, but what would they say to this? No. Okay, so what if we just took off the third and go straight up just the 2 prospects back? Zykov, Pricing, Joseph, and Goudreau for Durapos and Pecker. So Durapos, medium top 6 left winger, yes. Not a ton of great attributes, but 70 at 19 gives a decent amount of runway. And this defenseman, Gabriel Pecker, 70 at 19 as well. You just need defensemen in your system at this point in franchise mode. Just trying to get back what we can from the Kings here. So I will be, I'll throw in a pick, or I'll just take back only one of the prospects, and maybe that third, I don't know. With a fifth, does it get it any closer? Too far off? No. So I will say, let's probably keep the defenseman. So we'll keep Pecker, and we'll throw in that third in 2038. What do you say to this, Los Angeles? Trade accepted. Alrighty, that's a good deal for me. Thank you, LA. Ralph Pricing, oh man, that's the biggest heartbreak so far, I think. He could have had a letter on this team. He could have had an alternate captaincy. Ralph Pricing, who we drafted in the 5th round of 2025, 152nd overall. He has been a lifer here on the island, 563 games played, 102 goals, 186 points, a plus 80. Never a ton of ice time, averaging just 857, usually in that bottom 6 role, but he had as high as 40 points in 2033-34. In the playoffs, 41 points in 111 games, so I love the ratio there. 41 in 111, but 186 in 563. The points per game much higher in the playoffs. And, of course, a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. Ralph Pricing, the German giant, 5th-round pick, has his name etched on the cup twice. Good luck in Los Angeles. We wish you all the best. We just have to free up the money. The Kings have a ton of money to spare. So that will be that for now. We got a couple more prospects in the system, and now we can afford to go and sign Ackerman, as we have 8.935 available to us. Could we wait a little bit more and get him for a little cheaper? Perhaps. Could we even sign Palin right now to a cheaper deal? Yeah, that's a possibility. 2 years as an RFA. Yeah, let's do that. 2 years. I'll do that today. 2 years one way at 1.15 for Julius Palin. Augustine, this will be his last year as an Islander. His career was made here on the island. But unless he takes over as the starter and Ackerman just falls apart, this will be his last year. Either Ackerman or Augustine will be the starter moving forward, with Palin as the backup after that. We'll see. So Ackerman, we'll probably get him a little bit cheaper. We'll keep on simulating into July. Palin accepts. Fantastic. Who could we also think about, by the way, for extensions? I think Ken Douglas needs a contract. That's where things are going to get ugly next year as well. So all expiring. Yeah, Ken Douglas. What would he be wanting? 8 million? 5 by 6. We have 11.485 million. I wonder. That's not a bad deal for someone his overall in this year of franchise mode. I'll give him the modified no trade at 75%. 24-team no trade list in the last year of his deal at 5 years, 5.25, with that last year, that 5th year, having a 24-team no trade for Ken Douglas. All right, you take your time on that. Kasparaitis, I'd love to sign him too. He's been a good third liner. Bit expensive. We'll have to see how this next season goes. And Breland, who needs to be in the NHL very soon. He would do just 2 years to stay as an RFA. Yeah, so I will say let's jump on that ASAP. Advancing again, Breland accepts, and Douglas accepts enthusiastically. Fantastic. All right, those are a couple of names taken care of right away. Okay, now it's August 8th. How are we looking now, big boy? 1 year, 6.1. That's what I thought. That is what I thought. Let's go 1 year, 5.75. A little bit of an increase from what he got last year, especially after winning another Jennings. And that would leave us with maybe, $3 million left over to play around with. So 5.75 for 1 year on Jesper Ackerman, and we'll see who becomes our starter into year 14 and beyond after the year 13 results. Ackerman accepts. Let's get this offseason done. Okay, year number 13, and here's how we're looking to begin 2036-37. Yzerman, Celebrini, Martone, still that top line with a +5. Second line, welcome Peter Sarovi with Kapanen and Kevin on the second line, +2. third line, Platt, Kasparaitis, and I'm going to try maybe Boris Brylin to get a chance here. He has grown to a 79 overall, but we need a little bit more. The former 9th overall pick in 2032, we are very much looking forward to him hopefully being our second line center of the future, so we got to give him the ice time to do that. Unfortunately, that comes at the expense of Andre Hrdina, who we were hoping to have on the third line. He's an 81 at 21, second round pick in 2033. He had a year in the AHL last season. Ideally, or you would think it would be a switch like this, but Brylin needs ice time a little bit more, so he'll start with it. Spencer centering the fourth line, and Corbin Haynes at fourth line left wing. Defense, Dupont, Jiricek still the top pair as always. Jiricek wins the Norris Trophy and drops to a 90. That makes sense. Second pair, Douglas and Korobov, who's grown to an 82. He is a third-round pick back in 2031, coming off of his rookie season. Yes, 12 points in 82 games last year. And third pair, Nicholas Tan, who we got from the Kings last year, and Josh Lewis, who was a sixth-round pick in 2031. We'll give him a chance in the NHL as a 77 overall. I did sign a seventh defenseman, Christopher Hope, 78 overall right D. So that might make more sense because then Tan could play the left side as he is supposed to, and then Hope would play the right side. But I love Lewis and his 93 passing. So let's start the season with Lewis on the left, and then we'll see what happens if Hope ends up coming in as 7th D. Then for the goaltending, Ackerman still an 86, Augustine at an 83, and for the healthy scratches, Palin has grown to an 82, so we'll see if he can squeeze his way into the tandem sometime this season, and Maddox Marchman will play as 13th forward, 78 overall, our first round pick back in 2031, who's made his debut, actually never know, hasn't played the NHL just yet, so he'll get a chance this season, as being in the AHL won't probably help him, I don't think, any longer. Speaking of the AHL, we have Chung, Peacock, and McBride down there. Are they going to grow anymore? I don't know. Lane Peacock is someone who we definitely have high hopes for. Maybe he ends up being the second line center if Breland doesn't take it, but he's a 79 at 21 with top 6 potential, former 15th overall pick of the Senators. And some other guys down here in our system. Defense, a few names that we're keeping track of. Pecker and goaltending. Look at this. Riley Stepan. We needed a new AHL starter, so I went out and signed Riley Stepan. If you know, you know. We had to trade him away a couple of years ago. 1 year in Ottawa in the NHL, then a year in the AHL last year. Now he's back in our AHL system. Not much AHL time with us. Only 12 appearances as an Islander, but in the playoffs as a 71 overall. If you remember back in 2032, we won the Stanley Cup with him going 9-3-1, 933 save percentage, 1.97 goals against average. Doesn't make sense, but he's back starting in the AHL, backed up by Leonardo Menard with his medium elite potential. All right, so I want this episode to be like an hour. It's probably already over an hour at this point, but we're going to fly through the season much more quickly. The offseason gave you the picture of what we're going to be looking like. Now we can sim through the season itself and do that without having to belabor over little details. Last thing to think about will be the captains and jerseys. Now, Bo Horvat was our captain. Brock Boeser took it over for a season. Now, who is going to be our captain moving into year number 13? Honestly, it's a super tight fight between 3 players in my mind. Cole Yzerman, who we called Goal Yzerman, clutch moments in the postseason, drafted homegrown talent. He's definitely there. Porter Martone, another guy who's a homegrown talent. And he did take a big discount to sign long-term here on Long Island. Meanwhile, Yzerman made us sweat it out for $15 million. And finally, Jiricek is great, but I think the last one has to go to Dupont, who is another one, homegrown talent. So Yzerman, Martone, and Dupont will have the 3 A's for year number 13, and we'll see who distances themselves from the pack to take the captaincy for year number 14. All right, that's going to be how we run it. I'm going to go ahead and sim the beginning of the preseason now. The coach is going to want to talk to us, and we'll see if any offseason goals ended up working out for us. I'm not concerned about that too much. Management morale. And here we are now at the beginning of the preseason. Any final changes in overall over the course of the offseason with growth and all of that? Not for the forwards, and nothing for the defense. All right, so what I'll go ahead and do now is sim through the preseason, play around with some line combos, and see what comes out at the end of these 7 games. Another impressive preseason, as per usual. Will it mean anything? We'll find out. We go 6-1 through those 7 games. Martone and Kapanen both 9 points in 7 games. Yzerman and Celebrini both with 8. Kevin and Jiricek with 6. Dupont with 5. Korbev, Sorovi, blah, blah, blah for everybody down here. So Platt, just 2 points. Okay, Hrdina, 2 points. Brylin, just 2 points. All right. I swapped on the defense a little bit. So Hope in 2 games had 1 goal and was an even plus-minus, while Lewis in 5 games had 1 assist and was a +5. Okay. Goaltending was pretty solid all the way through as well. Augustine 3-0, 949 save percentage, 1.67 goals against. Ackerman 2-0, 946 save percentage, 1.5 goals against. And Palin basically 1 great start, 1 pretty bad start, ends with an 880 save percentage and 3.02 goals against, going 1-1. So Palin will continue on as third goalie to begin the season. Ackerman our starter, Augustine our backup, just because it's going to be a lot easier with overall, but a lot of confidence in both of these guys. Now we'll find out who distances themselves as the true starter, maybe even in this season, but definitely moving into year 14 and beyond. So let's get this season started with the first game of the year here against the Carolina Hurricanes, hosting them at home at UBS Arena, year 13, 2036-37. Let's get it on as we try to march our way back to another Stanley Cup Final after back-to-back years of losing before even the conference final, after we got so used to getting at least to the third round, if not further. First period, 2-0 Isles early as Keevan opens up the season with a power play goal, and Spencer down on that fourth line gets another in the final minute. Shots are 19-8 through 20 minutes. We have 19 shots in 20 minutes. Second period, goal apiece. Macklin Celebrini makes it 3-0 before Bonnet, with 17 seconds left in the period, gets one for the Hurricanes. A 2-goal lead, outshooting the Hurricanes like 30-17. Power play, let's call it a night. Keevan and then Korobov and then Yzerman as the Islanders win the season opener 6-1, outshooting the Hurricanes 41-26. Sarovi in his Islanders debut gets 3 assists and first star honors. Love to see that. Keevan 2 goals, and Spencer down on that fourth line in his sophomore year, a goal and an assist. Great start. Oh, but Corbin Haynes already out with a sore knee. All right, so that's no problem. Maddox Marchment will replace him there for this short little period. So we're going to try and fly through this as much as possible while still holding on to storylines and all of that. I'm going to do, let's say, 20 games, quick pause. Then we'll get to the halfway point, longer pause, trade deadline, and then we'll see from there. Of course, pausing as injuries happen along the way. So let's do the Penguins game, a rematch against a team that eliminated us last year. And then from there, we'll get through the first 20 games of the season. Odelius, we'll pass, former Islander. Here we go, calendar simulation. Tristan Luneau on waivers, 1.9 million, 78 overall. We have defense. We got to pass. We just signed Hope. We're okay. 4-2 win against the Red Wings, and then hosting the Blues for a 3-1 loss. All right, so we're 2-1-0. The Penguins are 2-0. We're on the road. This is where we lost. Last time we were in Pittsburgh, it was a Game 7 loss against them. Let's get our revenge. First period, 1-1, Celebrini and Yell. Second period, 2-1 Pens as Pelletier scores on the power play. 2-1 as the shots are even here in the third period here at PPG Paints Arena. Two of the top teams in the league going at it. Division rivals. Power plays on both sides. Killed off halfway through this third period. Final 5 minutes to go now. Could we have a tying goal? Do we have some heroism somewhere in that top 6? No, Pelletier gets his second, and the Penguins will win 3-1. Ah, tough. Let's now send to game 20 on the season, and we'll see what that brings us. Pulled groin here for Boris Breland as we approach game number 20 on the year so far. So Herdina will slot up for him, no problem. And then Marchment will come in the lineup down there on the fourth line. All right. So backing out now, where does that bring us? We're almost at that point where we wanted to pause. Let's quickly look at where we've been. So Celebrini welcomes his old team to the island, 7-2 win. We get shut out by Hornqvist and the Sabres, 3-0 of course. 3-2 shootout win, 3-1 win, 4-0 shutout win, 3-2 loss, 6-5 overtime win. Let's keep on going. 6-4 loss, 3-1 win. Yzerman now with an injured knee. Oh, yeah. So now we got to call somebody up. Fantastic. Okay, so Santiago Chung will get the call up. Haynes moves up. Platt moves up. Keevan moves up for Yzerman being out. All right. And then the AHL lines, of course. Let's just put some random guy in there. Bump these guys up. A lot going on behind the scenes. Okay, back to it. Where did I say we were in the calendar? And then the calendar gives you a random date in January. Okay, 6-5 overtime win, 6-4 loss, 3-1 win, 3-2 overtime loss, 3-2 loss, 2-1 overtime win, 7-4 loss. Fantastic. We're about to have both those guys back, Breland and Yzerman. Let's have a couple more games here. Wade McBride back in the AHL. I'm doing all the injuries at one point, all the same time. 5-1 loss and 5-1 win for the Alberta Swing. And now Boris Breland is back, so Chung has to go down. Santiago, how'd you do? 2 games, no points, but a +1. Thank you very much. Send him back. Fix the lines. I'm not risking more injuries to players, but it won't let me have guys up, so just the defenseman's going to go in the fourth line for a game. Let's just get Yzerman back, and now he is, so I can finally fix the lines. Let's just hold on. Let's get to where I was trying to go. All right, and finally a 6-3 win. So after 20 games, we are 11-8-1. Not the craziest record, but good to see that we're chugging along. Back-to-back wins here to end off that little run. Good. Let's get back to full health, and then we'll take a little survey of where the team stats are. Okay, so it still says playable injury for Breland, but everybody else is back to full health, so let's pause here at game 20, finally. Let's see. What? Cerovi, 24 points? I did not see that. Okay. How about that for the offseason pickup? The RFA from Washington. Peter Cerovi, 24 and 20. All right. CELLY-BRINI point per game right now. Kevin has 16. Where's I? Okay, but he was injured, but still. Kapanen 15. Martone 12 points, -8. What? Yurchek 12 points. Let's wait till everyone's back to full health. Maybe this is a bad sample size because of people being out with injury. Kasperitis, Yzerman, Zupon all with 11. Herdina, Platt 9 points in 20 games. That's good. Breland 8 in 15. I like that. And everybody else down here. Okay, Lewis 1 goal, -5 in 20 games. You know what? I'm going to give Hope a chance. Let's try a new Hope. Then for goaltending, Ackerman is the guy right now. Yeah, so Augustine, not bad. Not getting a lot of chances. He'll start this next game for sure, and Hope will be in, and that'll be it. And we'll try to see, now that Yzerman's back, full health, first line, does that change anything? Okay, so let's advance through this game with Augustine as the starter. Breland is back. Well, I don't want to see the result here against the 12-6-1 Maple Leafs. 6-1 win. All right. Woo-hoo. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Fantastic. Let's get Breland back in this lineup, and we'll sim another 20 games until the halfway point after game 41. 5-4 loss against the Rangers at MSG on the road in Toronto after beating them 6-1. Now we lose 5-4 in the shootout. 5-1 win after that. Very good. 3-2 win. 4-1 loss against Zykov and the Kings. Fantastic. Then a 4-1 win. 8-1 win. There's the scoring we're looking for. 16-10-2 right now. On the road against the Predators. 3-0 win after beating them 5-1 a couple weeks ago. So we beat the reigning Stanley Cup champions twice in 2 weeks. Now Kapanen's out with back spasms for maybe about 3 weeks. So Kasperitis, big chance for him moving into second-line center role. Breland takes over as third-line center. Herdina moves up, and we'll have Maddox Marchment come in. All right, we'll do that. And then just for little changes, like let's say Kapanen on the power play, I'm going to go ahead and say Breland takes that too. Let's go crazy. Breland, let's give him a chance. And then within his spot on the power play, I will give it to Platt. All right, there you go. Let's see how those players do with those opportunities. 4-2 loss, 3-2 win, 6-5 win. That brings us to 32 games. So the halfway point, I believe, comes against the Canadiens. I think that's game 41. On the road against the Capitals, 3-2 win against them. Love it. Hosting Hornqvist and the Sabres, 4-1 loss. We lose to them again. Blackhawks, they shut us out 2-0. Oh, goodness. On the road against the Lightning for the last game of the 2036 calendar year. It ends off with a 5-1 victory. But then we start the 2037 calendar year with a 4-1 loss. 3-1 win against the Bruins after that. On the road against the Avalanche and the Jets. Kapanen is back. Great news. Puninov's as well in the AHL. 6-3 win, 3-2 loss. And now we'll fix up the lines for game 41. Okay, game 41 now at full health. Here we go against the Montreal Canadiens. Let's do it. Hosting them here on Long Island. First period, 1-1. Nazarov for them. CELLY-BRINI on the power play for us. Second period, 1-1. It remains. Shots 25-15 in our favor. Third period. Now we gotta fly through these episodes. Come on, guys. We have the elements of this episode. Let's just do it. Overtime solves nothing. Shootout. Let's go. David Yurchek. Shots end 34-27. We squeeze out a 2-1 victory against the lowly Canadiens. All right, bringing our record now to 24-15-2, officially on a pace of 48-30-4, which, if it comes to pass, would be the least amount of wins we get in a season since year number 4 in 2027-28. Still a great season, but could we hit 50? All that to say, it's not like we're in poverty here. We are 6th best in the NHL. Check out the Central Division. The Blackhawks are 5th in the league and in a wild card spot, with the Blues, Stars, and Wild above them. That's crazy. So we are 6th in the league through the halfway point, 24-15-2, like I mentioned. Goals 4 per game. We're not at the very top. We're in the top half, though, at 3.29. 2.59 goals against. We're 2nd best in the league. Great. Power play at 22.3% puts us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th in the league. And penalty kill at 84.9. Very good. Has us again in that top half. If you want to look at the exact numbers, we could just see them right here on the side of the screen. Yeah, so we're 6th in the league in the power play, 12th in penalty kill, 2nd in goals against, 14th in goals for. Yeah, all right. Now, the points through the halfway point. CELLY-BRINI is on a point-per-game pace, 41 and 41. Sorovi cooled off, but still a fantastic 37 and 41 so far. Martone, 34. The plus-minus is regulated a little bit down to -5 now. Okay. Yzerman, 31 and 38. Kevin, 29. Jiricek, 29 and a +15. Kasparaitis on a 50-point pace. Okay. Dupont only on a 48-point pace. That is very confusing to me, as he scored 70 points in back-to-back years, dropped down to 57, and now on a 48 pace. It's still good, but I don't know what the difference of the last few seasons are. Still gets his power play time, still gets as much ice time as he always gets. It's just the shooting percentages. I don't know what. Kapanen, 21 and 32. Herdina on a pace for 40 right now with his 9 minutes of ice time per night. Let's see, Platt, 19 on pace for 38. He's already tied his career high, right? His career high now is 21. So yeah, he'll definitely do an okay job there. Breland, 17 and 35. The rookie year continues. Okay. Spencer, 11. Haynes, 10. Korbov, Douglas, Marchment, 10. Hope, 2 points plus 6 in 22 games. So better than Lewis. We'll take that for now. And for the goaltending, Ackerman, 19, 15, and 1, 2 shutouts, 915 save percentage, 2.58 goals against average. And Augustine's numbers came back down to earth, 5-1 and 1, 915 save percentage, 2.39 goals against average. But Palin's going to need some ice time, or at least some starts, I should say. So we'll definitely get that going into the second half here. Okay, so nothing that I see huge alarms ringing over, so I'm okay to simulate on to the next game. Had a little break there, very good. And now we'll have Palin start the next one. And yeah, you know what? I'm going to have even just Augustine back up. Let's give Ackerman a little bit of a break. Palin and Augustine will be the tandem, maybe for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 games. And we'll see how the game divides the starts. Yeah, 10 games. Let's give a 10-game break for Ackerman, and then we'll see. We'll probably just continue rolling how we had it after that. Tough start for Palin, 6-4 loss, 4-3 loss after that. Augustine probably in for that one. 6-1 win, 4-3 loss. More losses than we're used to here. 5-4 shootout loss. We still can't beat Buffalo. Hosting the Canucks for a 5-3 win. 4-1 win, 4-3 shootout loss. Then a final little back-to-back here. 4-3 overtime win and 5-1 win against Seattle. All right, 29, 18, and 4 now. And for the goaltending, Augustine's numbers have gotten even better. Palin, 2 games, 2 losses, eesh. 848 save percentage, 5.09 goals against. I'm not cutting the cord on Palin, but just to say, he's 83 overall, getting numbers like that. Unless an injury comes up, I think we got to go back to Augustine and Ackerman. Let's try zooming ahead now to the trade deadline and see what comes our way through the month of February. This is what we like to see now. 3-2 overtime win, 5-3 win, 3-0 shutout win. There you go, 6-3 win, 6-2 win. Not just winning, but winning definitively. That's what we like. On top of that win from Seattle, that's a nice little streak we have going now. That wasn't really an injury. 6-3 win, 7-2 win. This is what we were waiting for. 4-3 shootout win. Yes! The losses were piling up, and now we go on a nice streak for the first time this year. Hosting the Capitals. Not sure what happened there. Let me pause, actually. Holloway, no, thank you, from Pittsburgh. 3-1 win. Rangers. 4-3 overtime loss. All these random offers. And up here was a 6-3 win. So, including the Devils game, that was a 12-game win streak. And we are 12-0-1 in our last 13 games. Yes, 39-18-5 is the record now. That is exactly what the doctor ordered. Where does that bring us now statistically? Looking at the team. So we're first in goals against, third in goals for, power play second, pounding kill still 13th. Okay, CELLY-BRINI with 73 points right now. He was point per game, 41 and 41. Now he's 73 and 62. Yzerman has exploded. Sorovi back to point per game. Martone back to his normal self. Kevin, Jiricek, Dupont on a higher pace. Okay, life is as it should be. And goaltending, Ackerman, Augustine. What could be said? What else could I say? Yes. Finally firing on all cylinders. I'm not going to make any changes here at the deadline. I'm not going to even use up my time to go and look around the league and everything. I'm content with our team and the depth that we have surrounding us as well. So I'm going to say let's sim through the deadline and we'll just keep on going towards the end of the year. If I have to choose a date, maybe the Blues, who are 40, 20, and 2 right now, but no other game really piques my interest that much. Kevin, injured hand out of nowhere. Great. So that will mean a promotion for Platt, who's been impressing us. And Herdina will move up, and Marchment will come in. Okay. So we'll keep the current block. We will sim through. Very content with what we have now. We had the cap space and even the trade value to make some additions if we had to. But things are working well in the bottom six. Marchment's been a good fill-in kind of guy. And after that win streak as well, that went a long way in convincing me. So 4-2 loss, 3-2 loss, unfortunate, but then bouncing back with a 3-2 win. Let's keep on going. Kevin should be back after this game against the Penguins, and he is. And deep in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I guess we could have gotten like a better third or fourth liner that would have replaced Haynes. Yeah, but I don't want to bump anyone from this third line down to the fourth line. Really needs his ice time. Unless there's a major injury that we'll regret about, but... Kapanen, by the way, down to an 84 overall. Any other overall changes? Doesn't look. 10 up to an 80. That's nice. And nothing else there. Of course, we had seen also Palin earlier growing to an 83. So 4-3 loss against the Penguins. Of course, the Penguins will always have our number. Let's keep on going. 3 more weeks until the next game that we'll go see. We are 40-21-5. So after winning 12 in a row, we've now lost 4 of our last 5. We bounced back with a 5-0 shutout against the Jets. Good news there. 4-3 win against the Red Wings. Very close to clinching the postseason here. 4-2 loss, 4-1 win, 5-2 win. The Kraken fire their head coach. They're at the basement. They're 23-50-3. 2-0 shutout loss against the Panthers. The Flyers have fired their head coach, Brent Burns. Wow, Brent Burns, I'm sorry, the Flyers have fired him. Then a 2-1 win against the Bruins. Still haven't clinched just yet. Against the 46-27-2 St. Louis Blues. Let's see this one before we go to the end of the year. They're probably one of our rivals in terms of league positioning right now. First period 0-0. Second period 1-0 Blues. And third period 2-2 game, big comeback. Nemec scores, make it 2-0. But then Hope and Breland on the power play ties it. 36-28, the shots in our favor. Overtime solves nothing, and the Blues win in the shootout. But at least we get a point out of it from down 2-0 to tying it 2-2. Is that enough to clinch a playoff spot just yet? Still not. All right, let's keep on going to the end of the year. We're still sitting atop the Metropolitan Division, though. Good news there. Will we hit 50 wins with a few games left in the season? 5-1 loss. Each got to win all of these all the way through now. 3-1 win. We've clinched the postseason. 4-1 win. It's a battle, though, in the division between ourselves, the Capitals, and I don't know if the Penguins could catch up. It's going to be the Islanders and the Capitals fighting for top spot in the division. Loser faces the Penguins, which is what we definitely don't want to do. Huge game here against the Caps. Speak of the Devils, here they are. We are 3 wins away from 50 as well. Both teams have 47. What a matchup this is. Game of the season. Leave a like if you haven't already for some good luck. Here we go. I'm feeling your vibes from the future. First period, 2-1 Isles. Bengtson opens it up, and then Martone and Yzerman back-to-back power play goals. Second period, 2-1 it remains. Shots 25-24 in our favor. Power play Isles to start the period, killed off by the Caps 5 minutes in. Quickly pulling away in the shots, though, and there's Kasperitis making it 3-1. Shot now 38-27. Power play Caps, big chance for them. Huge kill by the Islanders. Up by 2 with 5 minutes to go. Will that be enough? Yes, it looks like it. That is a monumental victory against the Caps, outshooting them 41-36. 35 saves from Ackerman. Yzerman a goal, Kasperitis a goal, and we'll gladly take that victory. Now leapfrogging us, I believe, in the division. Now at 102, and yes, clinching the division as well. Woohoo! Yes, sir! Let's go! Can we hit 50, though? We got to win against the Flyers. Can we get win number 49? No! 4-2 loss, so we won't hit 50. But still another division title. Let's finish off the year here against the Carolina Hurricanes, who are 41-34-6. Last game of year number 13 regular season-wise. First period, Keevan opens it up, and then we allow 2. Second period, Lambert scores another. We're down by 2 here in the third period. Final tune-up before the playoffs. Let's go, boys! No! Oh, the close comeback. Yzerman and Sorovi score. Late in the third, not late in the third, but the last 2 goals of the period, but we drop it 4-3 the final. All right, bringing our official record to, yes, in the end, we were on pace for 48. We hit 48. Less losses, though, not 30. So we go 48, 28, and 6. to conclude the regular season. Our least winningest season since year number 4. But take that in context where we've had such incredible years. So let's check out the totals now. We won the conference even, but not the President's Trophy, no. So the top 5 teams in the league came from the Western Conference. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So we win the conference as the 6th place team in the league, 48, 28, and 6. My goodness. Goals for per game, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th in the league. Goals against at 2.61 was best in the NHL. Awesome. Power play of 23.8% was 3rd best in the league. And our penalty kill stayed solid at 84%. But it definitely could have been a little bit higher. Yeah, penalty kill could have been a little bit higher. Great, yeah, 5-4-1 to end the season. Point totals now in year number 13. Macklin Celebrini leads the team. Everybody kind of cooled down a little bit, I find. We got super hot in that win streak, then everything cooled off a little bit. Celebrini only got, 11 or 12 points in the final, 15 games after he had a crazy run. I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking the wrong numbers here. But hey, still a point per game plus season, which has been what he's done every year as an Islander. His 3 best seasons of his career have all been the last 3 seasons, all here on Long Island. So Macklin Celebrini leads the team, taking the mantle from Bo Horvat a couple of years ago, still leading in that way. Thank you very much. Sarovi, in his first year as an Islander, smashes all of his career highs, not goals, but assists, points, plus minus everything. 83 points from Peter Sarovi. What a pickup that was from the Capitals, even playing in less minutes. Thank you, Peter. Whew. Cole Eiserman, 42 goals and 73 points. Again, down year. 129, 100, 103, 3 consecutive 100-plus point seasons, 5 consecutive 90-plus point seasons. And now this year, still 42 goals. Awesome. Love it. But I guess just not a lot of goal scoring on that line, as Martone and Celebrini, neither of them were big goal scorers this season. Martone, speaking of which, 64 points, down again, 97, 92, 91, 76, 88, then down to 64. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying it's out of the ordinary for what they've shown over the last few seasons. Kevin, 58 points, down from the last couple seasons. Yeah, last few years. Still, again, still good. Dupont, 53, so he beat his pace of 48, a plus 33 as well. Yerchuk right behind him at 52. Kasparaitis, new career high of 51 points, playing under 15 minutes per night. Dimitri Kasparaitis, I love this guy, just an 81 overall. Oliver Kapanen, 51 and 73. Is it time to move on from him next season with his 3-team trade list? Probably. We love Oliver Kapanen, but he's at top-line potential. He's regressing. Probably needs to, but who's going to play second line center, right? Is Kasparaitis ready? Is it Brelin? Hrdina had 42 points, playing 8:45 per night. Hrdina needs to be at least a third liner next year, no problem. Brelin, 24 goals and 41 points in his rookie season, playing 12:28 per night. He'll be fighting to be in the contention for middle 6 minutes, like we said for Hrdina too. Platt, 34 points. I like it. Haynes, 23. Korobov, 23 and a plus 14 as the defensive defenseman. Almost doubling what he did last year. Nice. Spencer, 15. Clinton Spencer, the 4th line grinder. We like that. 15 points plus 6. Douglas, 12 points plus 19. Hope, 11 points and a plus 18 in 63 games. Christopher Hope, random guy we found, ended up working out. 8 points plus 15 from the offensive defenseman. Marshman, 5 points, -6 in 22 games. And Lewis, 1 goal, -5 in 20 games. In the end, for the goaltending, Ackerman goes 34, 21, and 3 with 3 shutouts, a .913 save percentage, and 2.59 goals against average. While Augustine, again, 14, 6, and 3. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 3rd consecutive Jennings for both of these guys. 1 shutout, .923 save percentage, 2.3 goals against average. Trey Augustine, what a career he has made for himself here as an Islander. Look at these career numbers. Who do we keep into next season? It's hard to say. Maybe we can't keep both. It's going to be too crazy cap-wise. And for league numbers, Connor Bedard wins another Art Ross and another Rocket Richard. Austin Matthews, 60 goals over in Florida. Should we have signed him? Maybe. But when you think about what Sarovi just did and what he'll continue to do on a long-term deal, it was probably the right move to go with Sarovi in the end. Defenseman, Makar, 82 points at 38 years of age. Still a 91 overall. All right. Good for you, man. And in the goaltending, for a minimum 50 games played, Ackerman there in the save percentage, 2.39. Goal against average, 2.59. Has him at 2nd best. So, as we always say, probably some Vezina votes there for Ackerman. And for the rookie skaters, Ryu Hervinen, wow, with a 70-point rookie season. Filatov, 52. Herdina and Breland, 4th and 5th, yeah, respectively, for rookie scoring. Still great, but whew, tough year to be a rookie. Okay, so advancing on now, let's see who our opponent will be in round number 1 as we face the Toronto Maple Leafs. Okay. We are yet to face the Maple Leafs in this franchise mode series so far, actually. Very interesting. They went 44, 34, and 4 on the season. Comparing there on the right side of the screen, goals for 7th versus 11th in our favor. Goals against, they were 25th in the league, so we got to take advantage of that. Power play 3rd to 10th. Penalty kill 13th to 25th. So we lead in all those categories. That's very good to see. And for their lineup, we see Igor Filatov. There's that rookie. Yes, the 3rd overall pick in 2036. He had a great season with Boeser as their centerman as an 86 overall. Okay. And Walker Stewart, 85. So lower overall forwards here. Matthew Nyes, William Moore, and Wyatt Little. Very young top 6. Got a 20, 22, 19. Yeah, it's a mix. Nice is 34. Okay, it's a mix. Sveshkov, Minton, Games on the 3rd line. Cheng, Ostlund, and Cooley on the 4th line. Defense, Vitaly Plekhanov, 24-year-old, 86 overall. And Jamie Drysdale, 35 years old, who just scored like 64 points. Yikes. Silyev and Peterson on the 2nd pair. Plekanec and Koteyarvi on the 3rd pair. While the goaltending is Sebastian Cossa at an 82, backed up by Ricardo Rafalski. Yeah, we had him in our system exactly at an 80 overall. And oh, look at this, former Islander Fabian Lysell. He's on a crazy contract, right? Yeah, $10.115 million. Former Islander Fabian Lysell. So, very interesting. All the forwards are between 78 and 86 overall. No one higher than an 86. But on defense, they have a top 4, all of 86 overalls. Yeah, this is going to be this is a scary team on paper. Got to give it to the Maple Leafs and that young scoring first line. But the facts show us that the Leafs have a hard time keeping the puck out of the net. We got to use that to our advantage. They were 25th this year in goals against. A great mix in this lineup. A lot of veterans. They've grown up in the system. Now guys like Yzerman, Martone, they're 30. They have 3 Stanley Cups to their names. Then guys like Sorovi, 25. Breland, Kasparaitis, younger guys. Herdina, they're being brought up by these new veterans, these former rookies who have become the veterans. Love to see that in the internal growth of the team. Let's get started. Game 1, round 1, year number 13. After last year, round 2 exit. The year before, round 1 exit. Year before that, Stanley Cup. Let's get back to that type of season, as this episode's already long enough and there's still more to go. First period, 1-0 Isles. Frederick Platt opening things up. Second period, 3-2 Maple Leafs. Sorovi makes it 2-0. From up 2-0, we go down 3-2. Ackerman, of course, our starter to start the postseason. But I'm ready to go to Augustine at a moment's notice. Third period now. Thank you, Oliver Kapanen, tying this game at 3. And Porter Martone puts us back up 4-3. All right, so from up 2-0 to down 3-2 to up 4-3. Maple Leafs power play now. Extend opportunity for Toronto, killed off. Here at UBS Arena, we lead by 1 thanks to Porter Martone's go-ahead goal with under 5 to go. Will it be enough in the final 2 minutes? Hang on tight. And yes, it is. Porter Martone gets the game winner as we outshoot the Leafs 36-32 in Game 1. Kapanen, a goal and an assist. Martone, a goal. And Zupon with 2 assists to win Game 1 after a little bit of a scare, allowing 3 unanswered. Ackerman, buddy, that was a .906 save percentage kind of night. We'll give you Game 2, but Augustine is always ready at a moment's notice. Here we go for Game 2. Let's try and keep it moving as fast as possible. The menus don't want us to. Come on, menus. NHL 26, I wonder. Here we go. First period, 2-0 early on the road for the Maple Leafs. Cooley and Boisvert open it up. 2-on-14 against us, none on 14 against Cossa. Second period, 2-0 it remains for the Maple Leafs, outshooting us 29-19. Sveshkov makes it 3-0. 3-on-31 is not horrible. It can be that we get 0. Okay, 4-on-33 now. We get 0. Thank you, Breland. His first career playoff goal, Boris Breland, scores the lone goal down that third line. 1-on-29 past Sebastian Cossa, legend in our Arizona Coyotes franchise mode series in NHL 24. And even in Starfleet, but especially in Arizona, if I'm remembering correctly. As we lose 4-1 in Game 2, being outshot 41-35. Yikes. Huge night from Sebastian Cossa to tie this series at 1 and make it a best of 5 moving to Toronto. Now, I wonder, Ackerman, 904 save percentage through those 2 games, 4.2 goals against average. Before it's too late, I think I want to give Game 3 to Trey Augustine. He is a tried and true product, especially in the slow sim. And if we're going to be thinking about who's our guy in terms of extension next year, Augustine has to get a chance to prove himself because both had great regular seasons. Augustine here in Game 3. Let's see what he can do against the Leafs here in Toronto for a best of 5. First period, 2-1 Maple Leafs. Filatov on the power play, then Ostlund, 2-1, 10 to pass Trey, but Macklin Celebrini gets one back for us. Second period, 4-2. Kapanen on the power play ties it at 2, but then Filatov and Ostlund again, same as the first period. Oh my goodness, the Augustine Empire is falling. 6-20. All right, call it a night. 8-3. What? Oh my goodness, don't tell me this is going to be how things go. 8-3, we lose Game 3. The goals against, goals for, and all that just out the window. Regular season means nothing. Regular season means nothing. Down in the AHL, we finished 37, 28, and 7. Made it to the postseason. Oh, goodness. Hang on a second. So definitely Ackerman back to start Game 4. Now, what's up here through 3 games? Yzerman, 0 points. No goals, 0 points. Celebrini, 1 goal. Martone, 2 points. Kevin, 1 point. Kapanen, 3 points. Sorovi, 2 points. Platt, Kasparaitis, Breland, Haynes. Everyone has like 1 point each, and that's it. So, Yzerman's swapping with Sorovi. Sorovi's been a revelation. So, we're making a swap here. Yzerman, Kapanen, Kevin, Sorovi, Celebrini, Martone. Defense, let's see here. 4 assists from Dupont, but -3. Yurchek's a -3. Douglas, Korbov. Okay, so we're going to go Douglas, Dupont, Korbov, Yurchek. And then Hope's a -3, so is Tan. I don't know what to do here. So Tan's going to come out for Lewis. Let's try that. There's a bunch of little changes for us going into Game 4. Down 2-1 against the wildcard Maple Leafs. Don't you dare tell me we're already wrapping things up here. I'm ready to go all night. Let's do it. First period, 2-0 Leafs. No! Fraser Minton scores twice. The slow sim will be our demise once again. Second period, 3-2. All right, Nyes makes it 3-0. But then Yzerman scores his first point of the postseason, and Celebrini gets his second goal, gets us within 1. We're outshooting the Maple Leafs 26-20. We're down by 1. It's not over yet. That's like in Game 1. We almost lost, but we squeaked out a victory. We should almost be down 3-0 right now. No scoring in the first half of the third period. Come on, somebody's got to do it for us. 5 minutes to go. Oh, what an embarrassment. What an embarrassment. 2-36. Kosa makes more miracles. What an embarrassment. Down 3-1. Oh my, allowing 4.75 goals for per game. Yep. Just like that. That's playoff EA hockey, my friends. That is playoff EA hockey. Any changes we make at this point? I don't think so. I don't even think so. My heart is already out of it. It can't be! Sorovi, 7 penalty minutes, -3. Celebrini, Martin. Okay. So, Sorovi, Kevin. Let's go Yzerman, Celebrini, Sorovi. Martone, maybe we need to spread him out. Kevin's not scoring either. Let's go Platt, maybe. Platt, Kapanen, Martone. Is that too slow of a line? 2-star skating, 3.5-star skating, 4-star skating. Who's a bit faster here? Breland, 3 stars. Kasparaitis, Kevin. No, we'll keep it like that. Let's see who has a little miracle for us. Breland, Kasparaitis, Kevin. 4th line can stay as it's been. Douglas, -2. Dupont, -3. Korbov, -1. Yurchek, -3. Lewis, -1. And Hope, -5. Awesome. So let's get 10 back in here. 10 and Lewis instead. And Ackerman to be the goaltender with an .898 save percentage and 3.8 goals against average. Or do we go Augustine and say this is truly the goodbye for Trey Augustine? You know what? Yes. I'm willing to do that. Augustine, it will either be that Augustine is the hero, or I don't know. Ackerman just allowed 3 last game. I don't want to do anything rash here. Ackerman only allowed 3 last game. Yeah, you know what? We got to stay Ackerman. He only allowed 3 plus the empty netter. Augustine, it's more likely that he's the guy to go as an 83 at 32, wanting like 3 by 7.5. If it works out, I want to see him again, but Ackerman, you'll be the guy. Here we go. Game 5. We got to win 3 in a row. We got to win 3 in a row now. As Kosa with his 932 save percentage is completely bamboozling us. Back at home at UBS Arena for Game 5. The beginning of 3 in a row. Gentlemen, take it one step at a time. Let's go. Where are the veterans on this team? Who is stepping up to be the captain next season? First period, it's 2-2. Dupont, he might be stepping up. Then Games ties it. Breland puts us back up, and then Moore ties it. 2-2 after 20. Second period, 5-2 Isles. Thank you. What? Benjamin Keevan with a second period hat trick. In 10 minutes and 19 seconds, he scores 3 goals to put us up by 3. 2 even strength and 1 power play. How about that from Benjamin Keevan? Oh my goodness. 5-2 Isles now. Here in the third period, outshooting the Leafs just slightly. Will a 3-goal cushion thanks to Keevan's second period 10-minute hat trick be enough? See, if it wasn't for that random magic, who else would have... It would be 2-2 right now, and we'd be sweating in the final minutes. But thankfully, we can win 5-2, outshoot the Maple Leafs 34-33. Ackerman looks good, making 31 saves. Keevan 3 goals and an assist. Dupont a goal and an assist. And we win 5-2 to give ourselves some life. Moving into Game 6, now down 3-2. 1 down, 2 to go. This is way too close for comfort. 1 down, 2 to go. We'll keep the lines as they are after a game like that. And let's just go straight into it. Game 6 here in Toronto. We have to win on the road to force 7 back at home. We're not out of the woods just yet. Let's go. Do your job, gentlemen. First period, 3-0 Islanders. That's what I asked for. Frederick Platt, how do you do? Celebrini shorthanded, and Celebrini even strength 2 minutes after that. 3-0 Isles. Second period, 3-0 it remains. Shots are 25-20 in our favor. Oh, boy. Okay. Will those 3 goals be enough? 3-0, a 3-goal cushion in the third period, just like last game. Power play Maple Leafs, extended opportunity killed off. We're being outshot 30-29. Power play Leafs again, killed off once more. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you for 7. 3-0 shutout, 35 saves from Ackerman. I'm glad I kept with him. Something in my franchise mode brain says stick with him. Celebrini scores twice. Platt scored a big goal. That's why we moved him up in the lineup. And we win 3-0 on the road at Scotiabank Arena to force Game 7 back at home. Don't you dare tell me that you just won Games 5 and 6 just to let the wheels fall off in Game 7. You're not allowed to tell me that. Absolutely not. Game 7 at UBS Arena. Here we go. First period, 0-0, being outshot 11-6. From down 3-1, we forced 7. Where are the leaders who are going to step up now with 40 minutes to go? Whoever wins the next 40 minutes moves to round 2. Second period, 2-1 Islanders. Celebrini, Douglas, the defensive defenseman, and then Little gets one back. We're being outshot 19-15, but we lead by 1 here at home in Game 7 of round 1. From down 3-1, it's Kasparaitis making it a 2-goal cushion now. Power play Leafs. Outshooting us, it's killed off. Our penalty kill has been strong. Halfway through the third period, power play Isles, killed off by the Leafs. They're outshooting us 25-20 with 5 minutes to go. Ladies and gentlemen, you can breathe a sigh of relief as we are through in 7 games to the second round. The Leafs outshoot us 28-22, but Ackerman turns it around, makes 27 saves in this one. Sorovi 2 assists, Douglas with the game-winning goal. And after a huge scare down 3-1, the line changes worked. GM data, a little pat on my own back. I'll go ahead and do it. And we push through to the second round with a 7-game victory. Oh my goodness, way too close for comfort. As Keevan scores 7 in 7, Kasparaitis, Dupont, and Sorovi all with 6. I don't know why Sorovi suddenly has 14 penalty minutes. Celebrini with 5 goals, 5 points in 7 games, leading the team in goal scoring. Kapanen 4, Breland 3, Yzerman only 1 goal in 7 games. This guy's killing me. 3 assists in 6 games. Okay. Platt 2 goals. Martone with 1 goal, 10 penalty minutes. What? Out of nowhere. These guys who have 80-point seasons, just 2 points, 10 penalty minutes, -2 in 7 games, as if he becomes a totally different person. Jiricek, Haynes, -4. Ugly plus-minus is Hope, -5. Lewis, 1 assist and a +1. Okay. Horrible plus-minuses here. Ackerman, 4 and 3. 1 shutout, .931 save percentage, 2.38 goals against average. Let's just wipe it away and reset for round 2. Whew. And in round 2, we will be facing, of course, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Just like last year, we faced the Penguins in round 2. Last year, they beat us in 7. What will happen this year is we once again face the Penguins in the Eastern Conference semifinal. So the Penguins, let's see what happened in their first round matchup. So they beat the Capitals in a 7-game series. They beat the Capitals, who were right below us in the Metropolitan. Oh my goodness. And big upsets in the Western Conference, as 3 out of 4 series are won by the underdog. Okay. In the East, 3 out of 4 were won by the favorite. Interesting. 1 year later, let's see this Penguins team. Yeah, Lekkerimäki, what did he end up signing for? 4 years at 13.615. Wow. Okay, so anyways, Lekkerimäki at 88, Gabe Vilardi at 84 at 37. Okay. And Kim Ekholm, yeah, 5 goals, 7 points from him. Second line, you have a 79 overall, but with 6 points in 7 games. Guy Desjardins and Brandon Gamble is an 85, going point per game there too. Yell, Ryan McLeod, and Jean Charpentier. Gavin McKenna. Graham McKenna, Caden Bankier, Bankier, and Casper Haltinen on the 4th line. Defense, Molendyke with Jérémy Poirier, Cam York, Mike Shelley, and then Wyatt Kaiser and Donovan Sabrango. So the defense is nothing special here. 5 points in 7 games from Poirier, so overall means nothing as per usual. And of course, it's an 80 overall goaltender with a .931 save percentage. He's only appeared in 2 games though. Annunen, yeah, another 80 overall goaltender with .917 save percentage. So both an 80 overall tandem that is lights out right now. Oh, but Pelletier and Harley both out. So I wonder, let me see the injury status here. 2 major players for the Penguins out with injury, headed into the second round. So, Gabe Vilardi, playable injury, that's 1 more day. Harley, he'll be back in like 4 days, but Pelletier probably out for the series. Okay, so let's keep on rolling, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1, round 2. After the Penguins eliminated us in 7 games last year, let's see what 1 year later has for us. What did we learn from the Penguins, and what can we use against them a year later? First period, 0-0. Second period, 2-1 Islanders, as Herdina gets his first point of the postseason. Martone has some life, and then Cam York gets 1 back for the Pens. Third period, we lead by 1 here on home ice. Desjardins with a power play goal. It's a 2-2 game with lots of hockey left to go. Spencer down on the 4th line gives us the go-ahead goal. 3-2 Isles thanks to the 4th line grinder. Power play, New York killed off. Power play, Pittsburgh killed off. Then Porter Martone with his second. That might be enough to end it with 4 minutes to go in this one. Yes, thank you very much, as we will win Game 1 by a score of 4-2, outshooting the Penguins 34-27. Martone 2 goals, Spencer goal and assist, Herdina goal and assist. So 4th line contributing in a big way in this one as we win Game 1. I was just looking at the records here. Funny, for a rivalry between the Penguins and the Islanders, we went 10 years never seeing the Penguins in the playoffs, and now we face them in back-to-back years. Hopefully we get the upper hand this time. Game 2 here at UBS Arena, up 1-0 in the series. First period, 1-1. Poirier on the power play, and Platt for us. There you go, Frederick. Second period, 3-1 Penguins as Yell and Lekkerimäki. Whee! On Augustine! No! Why? Ackerman out for some reason. Augustine in, instantly falls apart, and we're down by 2. Augustine has not been good this postseason in the very small sample size we've seen. Power play Isles killed off. Power play Penguins killed off as well. Down by 2. Power play again. 10 minutes to go. Killed off, and that's it. Desjardins puts the final nail in the coffin, and we'll call it 4-1 the final. We outshoot the Penguins 47-22, more than double. Of course, the 80 overall Zayuzin makes 46 saves on 47 shots. What a joke. What a joke. And Ackerman is healthy, thank goodness. So he'll be back next game. Augustine, just more bad numbers from him. But at the same time, no matter who was between the pipes there, we only scored 1. So we got 47 shots. That's great. But Nikolai Zayuzin, whoever you are, you just got to shake off the fairy dust and stop, man. Now at PPG Paints Arena for Game 3. It's a best-of-5 as this series now tied at 1. First period, 2-0 Isles early. Martone scores twice! Finally, some life from Porter Airlines. Second period, 2-1. Velarde gets one back. Shots tied at 19. We lead by 1 moving into the third period. We got to get more past Zayuzin. 2 is great, but it's only Martone. Where's Yzerman? Where's Celebrini? Where's Sarovi? Third period down to the final 7 minutes now. Shots still in our favor. Not quite 47-22, but it's 32-24. Final minute now. Hang on tight! Yes! A very, very nerve-wracking 2-1 victory. Shots end 32-25 in our favor, and we'll take the 2-1 series lead. Both goals from Porter Martone, thank you very much, and both goaltenders get stars in this one, as that was a goaltending duel for sure. And Zayuzin has looked good in back-to-back games. We can't allow him to get that swagger, that confidence. Martone's been great. I don't want to take him out of that position that we have him in the lineup. So I'm going to say let's just keep on rolling into Game 3, up 2-1. Now continuing on the road for Game 4. First period, 1-1, Lekaramaki and Sarovi. There you go. Second period, 2-1 Isles. It's Lewis, the 77 overall defenseman. Shots 22-18 for the Isles, and we lead by 1. Power play Penguins early in the third is killed off. Power play again from Pittsburgh, killed off once more. We lead 2-1 just like last game, but Sarovi now gives us an extra little bit of confidence with a 3-1 lead, and Kevin makes it 4. Call it a night. 4-1 the final. Shots end 34-22. Sarovi scores twice. Ackerman makes 21 saves. Korobov has 2 assists. And we'll come away with a 4-1 victory, now up 2-1 in this series. Oh, great news. I'm sorry, what am I saying? Up 3-1 in this series. Yeah, up 3-1 in this series, and over in the East, it's Buffalo. Of course, we're going to face Hornquist if we make it, right? 3-1 series lead, that's what we want to be seeing. Now, we just came back from down 3-1 in round 1. Let's not let the Penguins do the same thing, as they're now the ones who are down 3-1. In Bridgeport, we're on to the second round, it looks like, if I'm remembering correctly. And I also wanted to look at Ackerman's contract right now. What does Ackerman want moving into the future? 7 by 11.15. That's not bad at all. I wish we could extend him at this right now. 7 by 11.15. But there's no way. You can't buy somebody out in the postseason. So we'll have to hope that that number still stays by the time this playoff run is over. All right, let's try and push our way through to the Eastern Conference Final. I'll look at the numbers in a moment. If we do make it, I can say how many we've done in the last few years. I just want to do it right here, right now. Game 5, back at home in front of the home fans at UBS Arena. After the Penguins beat us in 7 last year, can we get our revenge 1 year later in 5 games? Maybe not yet. The Penguins start out hot. Ekholm and Desjardins make it 2-0 after 20. Second period, 4-0 after 20. Desjardins and Yell. All right, down 4-0. All right, and we lose 5-0. As we finally have a chance to eliminate the Penguins, we get outshot 37-21 and lose 5-0. Penguins, I guess that's to steal one eventually. They weren't going to go down without a fight, but let's just say, okay, there's your 1. That's 1. Now Game 6 on the road at PPG Paints Arena. Don't let the Penguins do what we did to the Leafs. End it here on the road in Game 6. Don't let them breathe. And it's actually Justus Annunen who's coming in to start this one. Interesting. Zykov. After a 5-0 shutout, I guess he tweaked something. All right, here we go with a chance to end it. First period, 1-0 Isles. It's Macklin Celebrini. Maybe he gets an alternate captaincy over Yzerman, who's been silent. Second period, 2-0 Celebrini again. Shots 26-23, and the Isles now lead 2-0 into the third period. We got shut out in Game 5. Could we in Game 6? I don't know. Here on the road in Pittsburgh, halfway through the third period, we are 9 minutes away. Celebrini completes the hat trick. Power play goal from Celebrini. And that will be enough, ladies and gentlemen, to eliminate the Pittsburgh Penguins in 6 games. Dupont adds an empty netter power play goal and push our way to the Eastern Conference Final. Shots end 40-33. Ackerman has been incredible. 33 save shutout from him, 3 goals and an assist from Celebrini. You know what, Yzerman? At least he got 3 assists for third-star honors. And we get our revenge on the Penguins who eliminated us last year. And we are through to the Eastern Conference Final to face either the Sabres or the Red Wings, who have now fought back from down 3-1. Let's take a moment to pause, actually, though, and just see our points through these 2 rounds so far. Whew, 11 points and 8 goals from CELLY-BRINI through 13 games. Love to see that. Sarovi and Kapanen with 9. Oliver Kapanen rebounding after a poor regular season. Martone, 5 goals, 8 points. Good. Kevin, 8. Dupont, 8. Kasparaitis, Yzerman, and Tan, all with 6. That's crazy. Tan had 8 points on the season. Let me see this. Season stats. 8 in 82. Now 6 in 12. 40-point pace. All right, 41-point pace. Platt, 5. Spencer, 5. Haynes. Breland, only 3 points, -4 from Breland. Yurchek, 3 points, +2. What? Korobov, 3 points, +4. Lewis, 2 points, +2. Herdina, Douglas, and Ackerman, just to look at this, 8 and 5 with 2 shutouts, a .932 save percentage, and 2.14 goals against average. My goodness. While Augustine, in his 2 appearances, allowed 10 goals on 40 shots. Yeah. So let's see who we'll be facing now in the Eastern Conference Final. Let's rest a little bit more and advance a few more days to see will it be the Sabres or the Red Wings. So here we go for what will be our first Eastern Conference Final in 3 years, meaning our 2nd appearance in the last 4 years, and our 7th appearance over the last 10 years. So over the last decade, we have made the Final 4 of the National Hockey League 7 times. That's crazy, as we'll face, of course, the Buffalo Sabres. Here we go. Oh boy. But that's a crazy stat to think about, especially when we consider our mandate when we were brought in here to the Islanders organization. 7 conference finals in 10 years. Whew, I want Stanley Cups, though. We're not done yet. We want more cups. So here we go against the Buffalo Sabres. Benson, Melnick, and Jarvis on the top line. Amir Melnick. Yeah, 92 overall. Sheesh. So Benson, 16 points in 12 games. Melnick, I didn't realize that. 21 points in 12 games with a 92 overall. Jarvis, 7 goals, 13 points. Second line, Blomstrand at an 89 with Alexis, yeah. Is he Canadian? Alexis Joseph? Yeah. Alexis Joseph, 11 points in 12 games with a 90 overall. Jody McIntosh as an 87 with 8 points. Third line, Valentini, Ludvinsky, and Mallet. Fourth line, Kukunin, Rodin, and Olivier Nadeau. Even the third line here, 6 points. Okay, 2 points, 2 points. Okay. Defense, Rasmus Dahlin, 37 years of age, the career Buffalo Sabre player through 1,484 games in Buffalo. My goodness, 83 overall, 7 points in 12 games so far. Olin Zellweger with 9 points. There he is, Thomas Hornqvist. What did he do this year in Buffalo? It was the same, super consistent. 18 points, 4th consecutive 18-point season from Hornqvist. Playing in all 82 games. No matter how many games he plays, it's always 18 points. He was a plus 18 as well. And he got more ice time than he was getting on Long Island. So, makes sense. In the playoffs now, 2 points, -1 so far. And Smith and Christensen on the third pair as Hornqvist plays with Shaika. Goaltending, Gabriel Daigle backed up by Nikita Kwap. And what has Daigle done so far? In 908 save percentage, 2.91 goals against average. All right. No injuries, and there you go. There are the Buffalo Sabres. Very, very scary top 6. And a formidable top 9. You got to give it to them. As so far, they've taken down the Panthers in 5 games and the Red Wings in 7 games. Now facing off against us. And over in the Western Conference, it's St. Louis versus Vancouver for the Western Conference Final. So here we go against the Sabres, a team that we've only faced off against once before, sweeping them in round 1 back in year number 10, which was the last time that we won the Stanley Cup, so 3 years ago. There you go. Could there be some omens there? Perhaps. Game 1, round 3, 2037, Eastern Conference Final. Here we go. First period, 1-0 Sabres as Zellweger opens up the scoring of this series. Second period, 2-1 as we score twice. Korobov and Sarovi there in the second period to put us up 2-1. 1 goal lead here in the third now. Very nice to see. And Breland on the power play. Yes, the rookie, Boris Breland. I'm so hoping for growth from him. 3-1 Isles to start things off with 10 minutes to go here in the third period of Game 1. Kasparaitis puts this one to bed. Let's call it 4-1 the final as we outshoot Buffalo 30-29. And Ackerman, another first-star game, 28 saves from him. Sarovia goal and an assist. Kevin gets 2 assists. couple apples for you. The doctor's not coming anywhere close to him, and we will take a 1-0 series lead here against the Sabres. If you just wanted to be reminded like I do right now, here are the lines moving into the Eastern Conference Final. Keevan's looking great in that third line role. Platt on that second line, okay. So just a little reminder if that's how the forwards and the defense are looking. As we will continue on to Game 2 here at UBS Arena of this Eastern Conference Final, our 7th in the last 10 years. With a 1-0 series lead, let's get it on. First period, 3-1 Isles. CELLY-BRINI scores just over 2.5 minutes in. Melnyk ties it soon after. But then Spencer and Lewis, unlikely sources for all this scoring, make it 3-1. Second period, 4-3. Joseph and then Jarvis tie it up. But then CELLY-BRINI, a minute after Jarvis, with 52 seconds left in the game, left in the second period, puts us back up. Thank you, Macklin Celebrini. Maybe he gets the A, like I said, moving into next year. Who's the captain, though? We'll find out. Shots 29-23 for the Sabres. And maybe he's throwing his own hat into the ring. I would say if we could put 4 alternates, CELLY-BRINI would have an alternate captaincy. So I would consider him an alternate right now. CELLY-BRINI, Yzerman, Zupon, and Martone. Anyways, back to the game. We lead by 1 with 7 minutes to go, being outshot 40-31. Sarovi makes it 5-3. It's not that we don't deserve it, but we're definitely, getting shellacked a little bit. And we're holding our own. The shots end 45, yes, but to 33, and we win 5-3 to take both games at home for the first time this postseason. CELLY-BRINI scores twice, 10 with 3 assists. Who is this guy? That's what now, 7 points in the playoffs? He had 8 points all season. And Spencer on that fourth line with a goal and an assist, 5-3 the final, and we will take a 2-0 series lead to Buffalo at KeyBank Center, as we'll try to keep the momentum rolling. Don't stop now. Ackerman, .935 save percentage. Let's keep it going. That top 6, keep holding them down. That's what we like to see. First period, 3-2 Isles. So we allow 2, but get 3. Kapanen opens it up. Melnyk and Rodin, not Mats Rodin, if you know, you know, make it 2-1 Buffalo. Then Breland ties it, and Jiricek on the power play. Welcome back. Put us back ahead. Second period, 3-2 it remains. Shots are tied at 18, moving into the third and final period. Will it be a 2-1 series headed into Game 4? Alexis Joseph wants that with a power play goal to tie it. Or will we take a 3-0 series lead and a chance to sweep this series to Game 4? Cole Yzerman, where have you been? Goal Yzerman with a very timely goal, making it 4-3, but then Ludvinsky ties it at 4. 4-4 game with 2 minutes to go. Will there be a hero, or will we see overtime for the first time? Yes. Shots end tied at 26, and we head to overtime. I'm only going to go in for elimination games, so let's keep on simulating. A goal for us gives us a chance to sweep Buffalo with a 3-0 series lead. Power play killed off. Power play Buffalo. And whoa, he scores shorthanded! Cole Yzerman with the game tying, or was it the go-ahead goal? Yes, a go-ahead goal. Then Buffalo tied back. He said, no, I wanted the game-winning goal in this one. Short-handed, no less, on the road. Wow. Shots end 30-26 in our favor, as Yzerman scores twice in this one, including the game winner to get first star honors. Sarovi with a couple of assists. Where have you been, Goal Yzerman? A couple of clutch goals there in the third period. Whew, to now allow us to have a 3-0 series lead headed to Buffalo. Might we be able to sweep the conference final? Let me just look at the records here for a second. Yep, that's what I thought. We have never swept an Eastern Conference final. We've won in 5 once, lost in 5 once, and won in 7 4 times. So of the 5 Eastern Conference finals that we have won, once in 5 and 4 times in 7. Talk about drama in this franchise mode series so far. That's why check out the playlist if you haven't already. Watch the last episodes. And now have a chance to sweep the Buffalo Sabres and head to a 6th Stanley Cup final of this franchise mode series so far, and a 6th in the last 10 years. Let's not count those chickens too quickly. Let's end it off first. Game 4 at KeyBank Center. Can we do it on the road? First period, 2-2 after 20. Nadeau opens it up. Yzerman, third consecutive goal there for the Islanders from Yzerman. Kasparaitis on the power play, but then Kuukkanen ties it at 2. Second period, 3-2 Isles. Frederick Platt stops the Yzerman momentum. Actually, it was Kasparaitis who did that, all right. Shots 29-19 through 40. We lead by 1. Freddie Platt, thank you very much. Might he be a second-line guy for us? I don't know. with a 1-goal lead. The brooms are coming out of the closet here. Are we ready to sweep Buffalo out of their own arena? Power play 5-on-3. Of course, they're going to get one there. Benson on the power play. The rest is killed off. 3-3 game with 2 minutes to go. And we will see overtime once again. Shots end 40-27. It's not elimination for us, so I'm not going to go in and waste like a half hour of my life. A goal for us sends us to the Stanley Cup Final. A goal for Buffalo sends the series back to the island for Game 5. Here we go. Game 4 overtime in Buffalo. Power play Islanders, and we win it! It's the 77 overall defenseman. Josh Lewis wins it in overtime. And your New York Islanders are through to the Stanley Cup Final with a 4-game sweep of the Buffalo Sabres. Kukanen, the goal and assist, but Celebrini 2 assists, Dupont 2 assists. What a series that was. What a series. The one I was most scared about. Coming back from down 3-1 against the Leafs, and then defeating our Demons against the Penguins, and finally sweeping Hornqvist and the Sabres. Oh, wow. And now we'll face either the Canucks or the Blues in the Stanley Cup Final. I need a second to breathe here. Let me show you just the point totals before I do that. I haven't gotten water this entire episode from the beginning of the off-season. Celebrini and Sorovi are both point per game with 17 and 17. Celebrini has 10 goals in those 17 games. Dupont 14, Keevan 12, but a -3. Yzerman and Kapanen both with 10 points as Yzerman finally woke up. Martone, Kasparaitis, Tan all with 9. Tan has more points in 16 games in the playoffs than he did in 82 games in the season. Platt 4 goals, 8 points, love it. Spencer 7, Breland 5. A -6 though from Breland, I don't get it. Jiricek 5. Lewis with 3 goals and 4 points in 14 games. 2 of his 3 goals are game winners. In the season, 1 goal, 1 point, -5 in 20 games. Here, 4 points, 3 goals, 2 game winners in 14 games. All right, Korobov 4, Haynes 4, Hrdina 3, Douglas 2. And Ackerman continues to impress, going now 12-5 with 2 shutouts, a .927 save percentage, and 2.28 goals against average. I gotta breathe, I gotta get some water, and then we'll see who we'll be facing in the Stanley Cup Final. Okay, so a little water in the system, a little midnight snack has been had. Shout out to Popcorners, and here we go for the Stanley Cup Final. We will be facing off against the Vancouver Canucks. It was done quickly. There you go. Whew, so we still have home ice advantage, although they won more games. All right, so here we go against the Canucks, who we had so much success with in our NHL 24 franchise mode series. Now we face off against them here for the first time in a Stanley Cup Final. Islanders versus Canucks, they went 49-29-4 on the year, like I just said. So far in the postseason, they're scoring more, 3.71 to 3.18. Goals against also better, 2.57 to 2.71. Power play better, 19.1 to 18.4. Penalty kill better, 94.1 to 89.3. And they have Tyson Foerster with 21 points, which is more than Celebrini at 17. All right, so on paper right now, everything looking in Vancouver's favor. In the postseason so far, they swept Calgary, then took down the reigning Cup champion Predators in 5, and then, oh my goodness, the Blues in 5. So they are 12-2 so far, as we are 12-5. All right, not huge differences, but extra, games of rest and all of that. Now, checking out their lineup, we see David Goyette at an 89 overall, 8 points from him so far. Center, Marco Rossi, 35-year-old Marco Rossi, by the way, 7 points. And Eric Dryden, of course, we tried to sign. He went to Vancouver with a big deal. No hard feelings for money like that being offered to him. Tyson Foerster at an 84 overall, 35 years of age, has that many points. Elias Pettersson, Data 782 Hall of Famer. He has 14 points in 14 games. We remember that from our franchise mode series with the Canucks. Cole Sillinger there in 84 as well. Him too. He has 18 points in 14 games. All these guys are 34, 38, 35, and they're all point per game plus. Rossi 35, Goyette 33. Crazy. Cowan 32, Valeno 37, then this guy Mellenby. Then Lemaire, Ackerlund, and Holmberg. So definitely an older team in terms of average age. Defense, Theo Lindstein and Tom Willander. Second pair, Niels Lundqvist at a 73 with Todd Hewitt, and Vlasic with Rasmus Sandin. Islanders legend and series legend, Rasmus Sandin, who is a three-time Stanley Cup champion with us. Wow, wow, wow. 2 years in Tampa, then 1 year here in Vancouver as he faces us in a Stanley Cup Final years down the road. Goaltending, it's Graham Bell, 84 overall. Yeah, remember, he was in San Jose. Not to know he was in New Jersey. Yes, he was in New Jersey. Now he's been in Vancouver for a little while. Bell backed up by Zane Merrick. Was he in our system? I always forget. There's so many goalies that have been through our system. And there you have it. So there's the Canucks team that we'll be facing off here in the 2037 Stanley Cup Final, our 6th Cup Final in the last 10 years, as we will be attempting to win our 3rd Stanley Cup in the last 6 years, and of course our 2nd of the last 4 years. Yes, I'm trying to keep an eye on the numbers as I'm doing all this commentary. So let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1 of the 2037 Stanley Cup Final. What a road it's been through this long episode. Guys who have been here before, Yzerman, Celebrini, Martone, rookies in their first Stanley Cup Final, or younger players like Breland, Platt, Hrdina, Sorovi, I believe, as well, Douglas, Korobov, Tan, Lewis, and Ackerman. Does he have a Stanley Cup? No, he doesn't, right? That's true, because his first year, last year we won the Cup, yeah, he was in the AHL that season. Exactly, so Ackerman, this is his first chance in the Stanley Cup Final. All right, here we go. I've been talking too much. Game 1 of the 2037 Stanley Cup Final at home at UBS Arena, hosting the Vancouver Canucks. Here we go. First period, 0-0. Shots 11-5 in our favor. Second period, 1-0 Canucks. Elias Pettersson gets one. We're out shooting them 26-15. We can't let these old guys come in and push us around. Marco Rossi. Thank you. Sorovi gets us back. That's a 2-1 game. Power play, Isles now 5-on-3 killed off. Power play Canucks killed off as well. Power play Canucks again. We can't keep taking penalties. All right. Down by 1. Even strength. 5 minutes to go. Outshooting the Canucks 34-28. Final push. Sorovi got us one. We need another late. And the Canucks win 2-1 as we outshoot them 35-30. But that one goal from Rossi is the game winner. Ackerman making 38 saves. Ackerman. I remember what I've been saying all this time. We only allow 2, but we only score 1. That's the problem. Is it time to change Yzerman off that top line? Maybe you've been yelling that at your screen the entirety of the last 2 series. Maybe it's time to get him out of here. Yzerman, his production's been okay. But maybe we get Martone back up here. Do we do that? Martone 5 goals, 24 penalty minutes. Let's get Kevin up here. Sorovi, Kevin, Celebrini, Sorovi. And then Yzerman, Kapanen, Martone, Platt, Kasparaitis, Breland? He's a -7. Oh my goodness. Maybe Hrdina comes up. Let's give him a chance. For Breland, it's not going to kill his potential to have him down on the 4th line. And then defense we won't touch. All right, very good. Just some changes there for the forwards, because we need to get some scoring going, and we can't afford experimentation time in the Stanley Cup Final. We drop Game 1. Let's take Game 2 and split the games at home, headed to Vancouver. Here we go. First period, 1-0 Canucks. Cole Sillinger on the power play. Second period, 1-0 it remains. We have scored 1 goal through 5 periods on Graham Bell. Alexander Graham Bell. Let's go. Shots 23-22 for Vancouver. Third period, power play, Isles. Thank you, Darius Kasparaitis. Dmitry Kasparaitis, 1-1. All right, there's some life for us. Who's going to put us ahead here with an even strength banger? Let's go. Bar down banger from one of our top 6 wingers. I'm feeling it. 5 minutes to go. Shots are tight, as we might see overtime, and we will. Shots are tied at 33. Game is tied at 1. A goal for us ties this cup final at 1, makes it a best of 5. But a goal for Vancouver has them win both games on the road and take a 2 and allows them to take a 2-0 lead back to Vancouver. We need to get the next one. And Forster scores 44 seconds in. Where's the passion, gentlemen? 32 saves per goaltender, for each goaltender. We drop both games. Back-to-back 2-1 losses. Back-to-back 2-1 losses. As we got to win both in Vancouver now. No other choice. We got to win both in Vancouver. Can I just know where's the goal scoring? Celebrini is doing it all by himself, I suppose. Who can score goals up in this top line? Do I give it to Martone to play with Sorovi? Or Yzerman with Sorovi? Martone. We're going to go Sorovi, Celebrini, Martone, Yzerman, Kapanen, and Kevin. And the plus minus, how are we doing here? Douglas -2, Dupont +3, Korbov +6, Yurchek +4. Maybe let's go back to the tried and true method of Dupont Yurchek. Now that things have calmed down a little bit. Let's try that. See if it does anything. Alright. Game 3 down 2-0. This is a game we cannot afford to lose. We got to come out with our absolute best for Game 3 and get ourselves a win here in the Cup Final. First period, again, 1-0 Canucks. 3 consecutive first period 1-0 leads for the Canucks. And always the shots are pretty similar, 11-6 in our favor. But Pettersson scores for Vancouver. Second period, 1-1. Thank you, Platt, shorthanded. There's the passion I've been asking for. Shots 21-18 for the Islanders, and we are tied at 1 thanks to Platt. Third period action here in Canucks territory. Here we go. Thank you, Porter Martone power play goal, but then Forster ties it right after. 2-2 game. We need something from the top 6 that I played around with. Dryden, no. 3-2 Vancouver. Thank you, on power play. Killed off. No, 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 no. Oh, no. Sweep and get swept, right? Oh my goodness. No scoring. Where's the scoring? The players are there. Sorovi is there. These guys are... All the players are in place. 3 consecutive 1-goal losses in the Stanley Cup Final. It doesn't get worse than that. Actually, a 4th consecutive one would hurt a bit more than that. I don't know what to say now. Yzerman up. Sorovi, Martone... Platt, Kapanen, and Keevan. Who's scoring down here? Spencer, Breland. Let's get Breland up then. Breland, Kasparaitis, Martone, Haynes, Spencer, Herdina. Defense won't change. Goaltending won't change with the numbers that we have. Back-to-back years. Don't tell me Aikerman's going to get numbers like that in back-to-back years and still lose. As we now prepare ourselves for Game 4. Coming back from down 3-1 was hard enough. But now if we want to win the Stanley Cup, we need to reverse sweep the Canucks. Wow. Just like that, down 3-0. It goes quick. That's how quick things go. Bang. 3 consecutive 1-goal losses. But we're not done yet. We've been in it. Don't be discouraged, gentlemen. We have been in the mix. We are here. We are in it. Let's go out there, keep doing what we've been doing, a little bit higher on the passion meter, and a little bit more clinical, and a bit more contributions from the top 6 guys that we need to rely on. Let's go. Leave that like if you haven't already for some good luck, and let's get on with Game 4. First period. What else is new? 4th consecutive game of going down 1-0 after the first period, and 3 of those 4 have been Elias Pettersson scoring in the first period. Great. Down 1-0 after 20. Second period, down 2-0. Willander. All right. Well, it was a nice season. Another Cup Final. It was nice. Down 2-0. Yzerman can't score. CELLY-BRINI decided to stop scoring. He was great, but he just stopped scoring. All these 35-year-olds keep beating us. Yep, that's it. That's it. Thank you, Breland. The rookie gets one. He cares. Great season. Not even a 50-win year in the Cup Final. A great year. Thought I'd hop in for all you Canucks fans out there. Shout out to Pat and any other Canucks fans who are still lurking from our NHL 24 series. As the Canucks sweep the Islanders, one of the best teams of the last decade, who just had to sweep themselves in the Eastern Conference Final to win the Stanley Cup. Rasmus Sandin, a 4-time Stanley Cup champion. Bell allows like 1 goal per game. 4 goals in 4 games. That's ridiculous. And the Vancouver Canucks are your 2037 Stanley Cup champions. Tyson Foerster, 5-year-old Tyson Foerster scores 27 points. What a weird simulation team. And wins the Conn Smythe. Shots end 33-30. But once again, Bell stands on his head. And that's how quick the Stanley Cup Final is over. 4 games, 4 losses. We can never score. Actually, we scored 2 goals last game. Yeah, we can never get more than a couple goals. And that'll do it. 35-year-old Tyson Forster with 27 points as an 84 overall with bottom 6 potential. Sillinger, 34 years old, 84 overall, 22 points. And then Pettersson, 21. Everybody else drops off after that. And the goaltending, of course, the goaltending. Bell, 16-2, 934 save percentage, 2.23 goals against average from an 84 overall. Who you would have never thought that that's the numbers that he would put up. But there you go. After an 883 save percentage last year. Horrible in the playoffs historically. Oh my. Well, let's wrap it up by looking at our stats. And again, a season to be proud of. Another Stanley Cup final. Fans are happy. Management's happy. But that's an ugly way to lose. CELLY-BRINI, goalless in the Cup final. 19 points in 21 games. Sorovi also had 19 points. He was a great pickup for us in the offseason. Dupont, 15. Kevin, 13. Martone, Kasparaitis, Yzerman, all with 11. Who stepped up to say that they're more in the captain category? Do we just give it to Dupont because he had the most points? Probably not, but I don't know. Dupont captain, and then who are the alternates? Does CELLY-BRINI get an A? I don't know. Platt, 10 with 9 points, like we said. Spencer, Breland, 6 points, -9. How is he a -9? Yurchek, Lewis, Korobov, Haynes, Douglas, all with their point totals there for you to see. And Ackerman now 12-8-1, 2 shutouts, 924 save percentage despite 8 losses and 9 in total. 2.38 goals against average. His career postseason totals has him with a 920 save percentage, 4 shutouts, and 2.44 goals against average, but he's 19-13-3. Augustine probably also his last appearances as an Islander, as we can't afford to pay him what he'll be looking for. And there you go. So let's get to the end of the offseason. Let's just quickly look at quick ideas because there's not going to be a lot of time for ideas from AGMs before the next episode. Quick highlights of what we're thinking about moving into year number 14, and then we'll call it a night. So, of course, the Canucks win the Stanley Cup. The Cleveland Monsters winning down in the AHL. Checking out the awards now. And also just a quick little reminder of the playoff tree. This is how things looked for the completion of year number 13. The Canucks, what a wagon they were. So the Canucks win the Stanley Cup. President's Trophy went to the Blackhawks this year. Islanders back in the Cup final. There's a Prince of Wales for us. Bedard, Art, Ross, and Hart. James Norris to Makar. Lady Bing to Misa. Calder to Hervinen. Conn Smythe, Forster. Vezina, Miura. Jennings. Yes, Ackerman and Augustine with their 3rd consecutive shared Jennings. Masterton, Adams, Parsons wins his 3rd consecutive Jack Adams. The coach of the Canucks. How is he getting it, though? Is it because the team is always, like, conservative seller status, but they keep doing well? I guess. Selke to Ryan Leonard, 10 Lindsay. Yeah, Bedard winning a lot of awards there. And down in the AHL, anything for us? Yes. Stepan, goalie of the year. There you go. Actually, not goalie of the year, not the Vezina, the equivalent of the Jennings for Stepan down in the AHL. As Bukestad scored 49 points, the defenseman to lead scoring this year. Where's everybody else? Oh, because Peacock and everybody probably got called up at this point. All right. And Bridgeport, by the way, lost in round 2 to Hershey, who lost to Cleveland, who won the Calder Cup. Draft lottery, Philadelphia jumps from 2 to 1. There you go for them. Congrats to the Flyers. Retired players, let's check them out. Connor McDavid retires at the age of 40, down at 74 overall. Did he play this year in the NHL? Yes, he did. Love that. 10 points in 20 games. That's it. But still, retiring officially with 2,200 points in 1,616 games, 813 goals, 1,387 assists. Wow, congrats to Connor McDavid. Svechnikov, Caulfield, Thompson, Velarde, lots of names here. Anyone who we recognize? Simon Holmstrom, who we had back at the very beginning of the series. Yeah, there you go. No one else really. Rasmus Sandin retiring as a 4-time Stanley Cup champion. What a career for Rasmus Sandin. If there's anything I'm happy about with Vancouver winning, it's that Sandin got another cup. Man, take a bow. What an inspiration. He was a huge part of our franchise mode series, and he got 3 cups here with us. There you go. I think that's about it for Islanders and goaltenders. Jeremy Swayman retires. Wolf, Hofer, Rodrigue, Hunter Jones, Data 782 Hall of Famer. There you go. Swayman with 430 wins in his career. All right. So they're the retired players for you. One of our coaches down in Bridgeport retired. Okay, we'll keep note of that. And one of our associate coaches, retired in the NHL as well. So that allows maybe Barzal or Horvat to be promoted as we have them in our system. And now here we are at the draft. Okay, so let's wrap things up as fast as possible. Progress reports for the year. Let's take a little peek at those. Sorovi at an 88. Palin's at an 86. Yeah, so Ackerman and Palin is the tandem next season. Kevin, why is he down to an 84? What? Kapanen down to an 83, but Kasparaitis up to an 83. Korbov, 10 at an 80, yes. Breland up to an 80, good. Peacock, 79, he was always there already. And in the system, Augustine, 83, we got to move on from him, unfortunately. Bulbrick, 78. Rintoul, who we just drafted, already to 78. Bukestad grew as well. Ritu, the high league goalie, up to a 61, already from a 48 to a 61. Samu Niemi. That's some big growth. That's why you go for the high elites, of course. All right, so good growth in the system. Love it. Draft board. So we have pick 31. Yes, of course. Then 2 late seconds, a late third, late fourth, late fifth. So if there's anybody to think about, we can just quickly skim through the draft class. Franchise guy going first overall. Croatian guy at 5. So at 31, who might be out there? 3-bar medium top 6. A guaranteed medium top 6. Lukovic. Yeah, this would be the guy if we pick. Lukovic, or even Steves. If we could please see his information. Or even Oshie. 3 years away. 2-way forward. Adam Oshie, gem sniper. 2 years away. He might be the guy. Even a low elite Nilsson. Sven Nilsson. A couple of top 6 forwards to think about there too. Okay. No, don't want to exit. Sorry. Now, contracts, finally the last thing to look at. So, Augustine will very sadly have to walk. Who else is expiring? Kasparaitis is going to need a contract. I wish we could have gotten him. Yeah, we could have gotten him at one point, like 3x3 probably. Ay. So, is Kasparaitis going to be our second-line center next season? Are we trading out Oliver Kapanen? If so, we have the space to sign him for that larger price tag. Tan's going to want big money for some unknown reason. It's not crazy, but it's bigger. And then, of course, Ackerman and his contract. What's he looking at now at an 87 overall? Ish. Oh, man. It was so good. It was almost so good. Like that 7x11 he was interested in. So, Augustine out. So, sorry, just the extension dollars that we have. We're at 8.43 million. So, 8.43 plus probably moving out, I would think, unfortunately, Oliver Kapanen. 8.65 gets us to 17.08 million. I don't think anybody else really moves out here. So 17.08 for Kasparaitis and Ackerman. That's definitely doable. If Ackerman, if we're committed to him and give him, whatever, 9, 10 million, 6, 7, 8 million left over for Kasparaitis, that won't be a problem. And then 10 needs some money too. The year after that, no big expirations coming up. Kevin will need a contract the year after. Herdina, Spencer, yeah. Kapanen taking up a lot of money. Yeah, moving out Kapanen will be a big help. That'll be a big heartbreaker, but it's unfortunately necessary. And that's why we gave ourselves that clause in the final year of his contract. And we'll find out who those 3 teams are on July 1st. All right, so that's the plan moving into the off-season. Anything else we want to think about? Feel free to leave your thoughts. Here are the potential pending UFA forwards. Sorting by overall at the very top if you're just interested in seeing those guys. Any potential trades, targets, whatever you want to think about, feel free to throw out some thoughts. But yeah, I will end it off there as it's a long enough episode with the season, off-season, post-season, and everything. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Couple more Islanders episodes to come. And then the big year number 15 live stream to celebrate my wedding, my birthday, all that to finish off. Probably the last upload until probably closer to the end of August. Will be the evening Eastern Standard Time of Monday, July 21st. So thanks again for watching. Leave any and all your thoughts down here in the YouTube comments or over in the Discord server, link in the description. Join the over 9,000 subscribers and over 700 members in our Discord server. Become a part of the community. We'll be that much stronger with you as a part of it. And I thank you so very much for watching. Looking forward to seeing you in the next one as we try, of course, to march our way back to another Stanley Cup Final in year number 14. And also consider naming a captain, so a lot to think about. And looking forward to hearing what you have to say.